It took me forever to try to get on here. Something was going on with my camera. It wasn't showing up. I had to like shut down StreamYard, reboot it back to get my camera working. And the whole time I'm like, the Republicans don't want me to do this video. Anyway, hey guys, party in the USA. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight's video, this isn't going to be like a long one like we normally do. We're just going to talk about what happened on election day, the big blue wave. We'll get into a discussion of that. I'm going to talk about some of the major Democratic sweeps that happened on election night, and then we'll get into the chat with you guys to hear your thoughts, and then I'll let you go on about your day or your evening, wherever you may be. Let's get into it. First, we're going to start off with Momzaddy, because that was a really big deal. Zohran Momzaddy, he is officially the mayor of New York, and I think the youngest mayor of New York City. He is a 34-year-old South Asian Muslim man who was a Nepo baby. It was a really big deal that he was a Nepo baby. His mom, I believe her name is Mira Nair. She wrote Mississippi Masala, that movie from back in the day with Denzel Washington, and I forgot the lead actress's name, but I know her face. And that movie at the time was like a really big deal. And I remember it being a big deal. And I remember being so weirded out. Like, I didn't know why it was a big deal. Like, the adults were having the conversation about it, and I just didn't understand what the problem was, because both of the people were dark. And I was just like, how is this an issue? Like, I just did not understand how their families didn't want them together. I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I realize, cultural differences in anti-Blackness and the South Asian community and the immigrant community. I know these things now, but when I was a kid, I was just like, what is the difference? Ciao. Anyway, so that was like a really big deal. They were just like, he's a Nepo baby. He's never held a job in his life. He's deeply unserious. And they were sharing his rap video that was going viral and saying that he's not really serious. He is trying to break into the industry, doesn't really know what he's doing, but he knew how to do something. And that was to reach the people of New York, the voters of New York. And he reached them so well, he won by like a landslide. Let's
to the polls because the numbers was crazy. This is who we're talking about. What? Are you freaking kidding me? There it is. Zohran Manzadi, a millennial, a baby millennial. This is the mayor of New York City, y'all. Ain't that about a biscuit? I know that's right. Only 1 out of 9 New Yorkers voted for Zohran. These are the election results by way of CBS New York. Zohran won 49.6% of the votes. Cuomo, and this is just with 60% of the vote in. Cuomo won 41. And then this, do you guys remember this guy? I remember him from back in the day. I forget what these people are called, but I feel like he always runs for mayor and it just never works out for him. But Curtis, I forget what them red hats are called, but aren't they like volunteer security? But he always runs for like an office, a political office, and he just never wins. But this was with 60% of the votes in, and at this point, people were just calling it and being like, it's just going to take a huge Hail Mary for Cuomo, the alleged sex offender, to win this race. And this is the results after at this point. I think this was actually the beginning of the race, and Mamdani was doing really good. Like, he was outpacing Cuomo ridiculously. And guys, can we talk about how crazy it is that you go from governor to running for mayor? He must really need a job. I thought he was a rich kid. Like, why you were a governor, a disgraced governor, and then you want to be a mayor? No shade. Ain't that like a step down? Very weird. Does he need a job? Wasn't he wealthy? Anyway, let me move on. So here is the breakdown of election night in New York City. New York, the concrete jungle. At the end of the day, Zohran got over 1 million freaking votes. Like, 1 million people, over 1 million people voted for this Nepo baby. Nepotism worked this time. People did not mind the nepotism. I think it's absolutely as somebody who vividly remembers 9/11, I think it's so freaking amazing that a Muslim man is the mayor of New York City. Like, for those of us who remember 9/11, for those of us who remembers the Islamophobia in America years after 9/11, it was crazy. I will say, for Black Americans, this was the first time we had a break. Listen, the whites loved us. They was not happy with the Muslim community, child. It was a different time back then. So to have experienced 9/11, right? And he is from, he's born in Uganda, but raised in New York. I know he remembers that time as well, right? So to have experienced that and then end up being the mayor of New York City, one of the most powerful cities in the nation, Trump messed up. That man was so terrible. New York City elected an immigrant, South Asian, Muslim mayor with a Syrian wife who's an artist. actually, I feel like he's so terrible for America that he's actually so good for the right side of history. If he was not such a horrible president, I don't think we would have had Zoran. If he was not so terrible, like this is worse than the last time he was in office. If he was not such a terrible president, I don't think this would have happened. I don't think that this would have happened. My God, today, 34 years old. Oh, real quick, I'm gonna go back to Mom Zaddy. But did y'all see the interview of what is it? Eric, what is the mayor of New York? Hold on, the former mayor. Eric Adams. Did y'all see that interview that he did where he was just like countries across the globe are asking him to come and consult with them on how to run their nations? That never happened. Eric, that no country is trying to fly you out. He said they're trying to fly me out private so that I can go, help them get their countries in order. A lie. That never happened. That never happened. He was like, "Oh, I'm glad that I dropped out. I'm a citizen now. I don't have to deal with you people anymore. Nobody's going to bother me. I could just live my life." You're lying. You dropped out because you know you did not have a shot in hell. You knew it was never going to happen. Shout out to New York. I will say when Eric Adams got elected, I was shocked. I was like, what's going on with New York? New York normally don't play. Because one thing about them, that New York has always disliked Trump and they have always been vocal about it. So for them to elect Eric, I was like, what's happening there? But man, did they course correct with Mom Zaddy? Did they ever course correct? My God, today. My God, today. New York about to be lit again. That's about to be the place to be, child. That's about to be the place to be. And all the billionaires and all the rich people who said that they would leave New York if Mom Zaddy won, they're still there. They're not leaving. Who will leave New York? Nobody's leaving New York. They're going to stay there. They're going to complain. They're going to try to push him and manipulate him with their monies. I hope that he remains the same, because this is the thing that happens when you're outside of the establishment. You can talk a big game, and you could talk about how they're the bad guys and how you're coming in to change. A lot of people have that mindset, but that establishment is strong, powerful, old guard. And a lot of people bend and break to their will. So I'm hoping that everything that he said in his speech that he can stand 10 toes down on and not budge. I'm hoping that when he does in 58 days, when he's sworn in, that he stands by his word and he fights for the people, because that old guard is powerful. We have seen so many politicians be eaten up by that old guard. Leave AIPAC alone. Don't take a meeting with AIPAC. Don't do it, Mom Zaddy. Do not do it. His speech, 8. His victory speech, 8. And I got to tell you, I think it was in 2012 when Obama spoke at the Democratic National Convention. That's when, who was he? He was just a congressman at that time. Yeah, he wasn't even running for president. Y'all remember that speech where he closed out the DNC? And that speech where he said, there are no red states. There are no blue states. It's just the United States. God bless America. And walked off. I remember watching, we all had chills. My family, we were watching that like, who is this guy? Who is this biracial dude with all this chutzpah? Who is this? I remember us being so gagged. Like, we were talking about him the next day in school. Like, it was a big deal. It was a big deal after he did that speech. And immediately after, everybody was talking about him for president. That speech sealed the deal. So this Zoran speech, it was giving Obama closing out the DNC. It was giving Obama. I don't know if he studied him, but I got chills. I got chills listening to that speech. I will say he did talk a big game, and I hope that he can hold the line. But I think this man won because he reached the people. And that's how you have to do it. That's how okay. Praise the Lord.
That speech. I came in late.
Zoran. His victory speech.
Yeah, he's not running for president, Gavin.
Mom, what are you talking about?
I'm not feeling
Watch the speech.
I'm not feeling well.
Watch the speech. Sorry. Elderly people. God bless them. Anyway, he reached the people. He was talking about taxi drivers, nurses, unemployed Black women, like the immigrant aunties. Like, he really reached the people. And that's how Ocasio did it. That's how Barack did it. And I feel like that's what really pushed him over the line, where people were just like, this is somebody like me. Although he's a Nepo baby, he was somebody who could relate and reach the people. They felt like they had somebody who could speak for them. And that's how I believe that he won. He really went after the poor and the working class. And those are the voters. Those are the voters. Those are the people who are going to show up and show out. And they showed up and they showed out for him. Over 1 million people voted for that man. That gotta feel good. That got to feel good. The speech was powerful. I don't know if he wrote it. I don't know who helped him wrote it. Mom Zaddy, if you didn't write that, whoever wrote that for you, keep them on a team. Keep them on. That's how you have to ignite the people. And especially, he was unfortunately, but fortunately for him, blessed with a really tumultuous time where the poor and working class is being pressed, where there is nothing left. These people said, we got to do something. There has to be a change. And I have to be honest with you, I think the pausing of SNAP benefits, that was just the line for people. I think everybody was just like, okay, it went from worse to worser. We got to make a change. And I think that is why he won. I also think that he's a great candidate, right? He's running against Cuomo and Adams. Like, no shade, he ain't had no competition. He was the best to come out of it. If we're going to be honest, he was the cleanest one, the most relatable one, the kindest one, the most understanding candidate. So I'm not shocked that it was a blowout, but there were a lot of people who put money into Cuomo or Cuomo, whoever he is, to beat him out. So this was really the rich versus the poor, because the poor and working class really pulled it out. The rich does not have the votes. And I think this mayoral race, this New York mayoral race, should really wake up a lot of America. And it should let you all know, the working class, the poors, it should let you all know that you actually have the power. Because the rich was really riding for Cuomo, really putting money into his pockets. He outspent Mom Zaddy. He couldn't keep up with him financially, but that didn't matter. He stayed with the people. He stayed with the people. And in the end, that is what actually mattered. That's what actually mattered. I want to bring this up because, my God, today, Queens shocked me. Queens! Now, Staten Island, that ain't shocked me. So I knew that Staten Island was going to vote the way they voted. But Queens, my God, today, never shocked by Manhattan. Those are like, now Manhattan, that's where you'll get the real rich liberals, that they put their money where their vote is. Like, if you want to find the best of the rich, it'll be in Manhattan. Brooklyn did not surprise me. But Queens, I was like, oh, wow. I know that's right. And I just want to address this one thing, because I saw it happening on Threads and on TikTok. Black Americans felt left out because their Mom Zaddy and of Ocasio, they have had speech. They, in their speeches, they have both said that, there's this running conversation now that America is a nation of immigrants, and Zoran, said that New York is a city of immigrants, and there's just, and when you say that, right, when you say that America is a nation of immigrants, when you say that New York is a nation of immigrants, there is always Black American and Indigenous eraser. I don't think that it is being said to purposefully overlook Black Americans. I just think that because Black Americans are, sorry y'all, it's our problem with that cookout mess, right? Black Americans are so lenient and so inviting, to the point where we have invited our own eraser. We let everybody come in, and we let everybody, it's fine, come in, get what you need. It's okay. You don't have to help me. It's fine. I'll clean up after you. You take and you go. Well, everybody is doing that now. And now you're feeling some sort of way because we're feeling like we are forgotten and being erased. But we have to take responsibility for that. We have done a lot of damage with the cookout. We have done a lot of damage with not requiring transactional allyship. So now that this eraser is happening, a lot of Black Americans are being like, no, like Black Americans built New York City. Immigrants came in after the work was already done. And I honestly get that. The new Black Americans in New York should feel some sort of way. But I do feel like Black Americans as a whole have to take some responsibility for contributing to the eraser. We are so kind, so generous, so offering and opening to a fault. Now that you see this, let's move accordingly. But I honestly do not think that Zoran was trying to erase Black Americans. I felt like in his speech, when he spoke about the 300,000 Black women who are unemployed, that he's going to work for them, I felt like that was where he felt like he covered the Black American base. But I feel like you wanted to be called out. I feel like the Black American community in New York just wanted to be called out as a singular unit. And I understand that, and I get that. And I am not saying that you guys should not feel slighted. I understand that, but I also feel like in that understanding, we are partially responsible for that eraser as well. It's not a bad thing. We have empathy. We're nice people. I get it. But we now know you got to move differently. But I do think that he is going to be a mayor for everyone. So the Black American community in New York City, do not fret. I do not think that you will be erased, but I also think that you should continue to be vocal about being seen and properly represented. And I just want to say, overall, America is a nation of Indigenous Americans, the descendants of enslaved Africans, oppressors, and immigrants. We all make up this very complicated nation, but I think as we all move together as a community, we should remember everyone, especially those who laid the foundation. And as a Black American, that bothers me so much when we are either called immigrants or we are just not even brought up. But it's not my community, but I always feel a little something when that conversation happens, because the first people of this land constantly are overlooked. So if we're going to start with whose land this is, let's start with Indigenous Americans first. But again, I got to give it to Zoran. That speech ate. That speech ate. Also, he got an all-female team. Somebody was just like, is this the Jalen Hurts of politics? I will say the astrology girlies said that this was going to be the year of the woman. We thought it was going to go a different way, but here we are. Also, shout out to Kamala Harris because she also, her and Hillary, they also laid the foundation. This blue wave and all of these things that are happening could not have happened had those two ladies not cracked the ceiling and led the charge as well. They didn't get the outcome that they wanted, but they started something mighty. So shout out to them as well. But this New York, you did it. You inspired the globe. Everybody in LA, there were watch parties for this race. It was, I'm telling you, for the millennials who can remember, this was giving Obama years. It was just feeling like, oh, like, you know what I mean? And one girl on Threads was just like, I'm so happy that Gen Z finally gets to feel what we all felt when Obama won. Because it felt very reminiscent of that time. We were all so hopeful. And that's what that win was for a lot of us. It was hope. Hope Core was back. And congratulations to Zoran in New York. Y'all did y'all big one with this one. Y'all did y'all big one. But with every victory, there is always a hater. Deborah Messing, what the hell is going on? What is going on? So Deborah Messing was watching the polls. And as every hour as the results came in, she just collectively lost her mind. She was on Instagram posting the most racist things that you could ever think of. The only thing that I feel comfortable, and not even comfortable, but the only thing that I feel like is the least offensive, and that's saying a lot, is this right here. One of the things that she posted on her Instagram story was showing you either vote for a Democrat or an actual communist jihadist. What about Zoran makes him a jihadist? He's just Muslim. He's just Muslim. So her entire, she posted like 90 Instagram stories, and they just became increasingly racist as the results came in for the New York mayoral race. And it's just so disappointing. But again, this just goes to show you that you don't know these people, right? These actors play characters that somebody else wrote that you grow to love and enjoy. But a lot of these people are not the people that they portray. So it was disappointing to see. But if you've been following, she has been like this for a very long time. And I think what has happened now with this whole blue wave and with Zoran winning this election, now people are taking notice, right? A lot of people are also saying that, oh, DEI is suddenly going to come back because the pendulum is swinging back. So now everybody's like, oh, Deborah Messing, how could you? But she had been like this. Now that, you know, the pendulum is swinging back into the favor of the DEIs, now everybody's outraged. Now everybody's acting like it's a big deal. It's been a big deal, but nobody cared because the time was different. So, you know, she's being called out for that, but I just feel like she's so far gone. I don't think she's going. I don't think she's going to care, and I honestly don't think that there could be any coming back from this for her. Like, she's really locked into the ignorance. It's insane to see. And last but not least, before we move on, I want to talk about this. So Lala, right before the polls closed, she posted this on her stories, and she said, "It's election day here in New York City. Please get out and vote. Let's go, Andrew Cuomo. I've known him for years. He's passionate on criminal justice. reform, and I've seen firsthand the kind of leader he can be. We need him. Your vote, your choice. I encourage everyone to get out there and make your voice heard. Vote. A lot of people were just like, "Oh my goodness, Lala, aren't you black? Aren't your parents immigrants?" Here is what I want to say to that. The celebrity bourgeoisie will not save you. Black capitalists will not save you. Latina capitalists will not save you. Until we have class consciousness, we're always going to be in the pickle. We're all the 99%. Until the 99% wakes up, we're always going to be in the pickle. You have to realize, when these people get money, when these people get a certain type of status, when these people get into a certain type of tax bracket, they're not black, they're OJ. They no longer identify with you poors. Your skin color, your gender, none of that matters. Hello, Caitlyn Jenner, right? It's Jenner, right? Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner. It doesn't matter. They're rich, Jeffree Star. It doesn't matter how they identify, because they first will identify with their tax bracket before their race, before their gender. They will use that race, they will use that gender, they will use the familiarity that they have from you being from the same city to sell you stuff, to make you like them, to make you want to be like them, so that you will buy whatever they're putting out. But they don't identify with you poors. When Lala posted that, she didn't post that as a Afro-Latina woman. She posted that as a rich woman. She identifies with her tax bracket first. And until the 99% get that, we'll remain in this situation. Let's move on. Congratulations to Zoran. Let's move on to the New Jersey governor race. So people were calling her Mikey. I'm going to go with Mickey. I was hearing Mikey and Mickey on the news, so I'm going to just go with Mickey. Mickey Sherrill wins the New Jersey governor race. Here are the polling results. She was running against Zach Citarelli, Vic Kaplan. I don't even know why you showed up. Like, I hate when people split the vote like this. Like, you just wasted 12,000 votes. Thanks, Vic. Thanks. But Mickey is now the governor of New Jersey. Here's the thing. As somebody from Philly, I really wasn't shocked that New Jersey had a Democratic a Democratic governor. However, it was a big deal because Jersey had been going red for a minute, right? So for a Democrat to come in and win the governor's race was a huge deal because of how Jersey was turning from a very democratic state to a very conservative state. I think I'm telling you guys, I think that snap being paused or held up, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think there were so many other things, like the financial issues that everybody was having, but not only the financial issues to take away people's ability to eat. That was it for a lot of people. And it was very dumb for Trump to stop the benefits before an election, but it was very smart, or it was very helpful to Democrats. And I think that is what really energized a lot of people to flip. Because that's what happened. The blue wave happened because a lot of people flipped. Like Michelle Wu, she won in Boston again. She won a re-election in Boston. I believe that she is the youngest woman mayor to hold that seat. But Michelle winning in Boston, that wasn't Boston is hella liberal, right? Hella racist, but hella liberal. However, a young millennial Asian woman is the mayor of a huge liberal city. So for this blue wave to have these liberal mayors, these liberal governors, these liberal commissioners, these liberal chefs, these liberal sheriffs, that makes a big deal. That's a big deal, right? Because the local elections matter. They matter first before you get to the big election that everybody decides to vote in. The local elections matter because of gerrymandering, right? Local elections matter because of voting machines, right? We were able to get these results because a lot of voting centers did not use Dominion, did not use the Dominion voting, whatever you call them, voting booths, the voting machines that are now owned by a billionaire Republican. They said, no, we're not going to use those. We're going to use something else. And that could only happen in liberal places where you have liberal, democratic, and liberal leadership. Local elections matter. Vote in everything. Local elections matter. But I want to go back to Mickey Mikey, because this the exit polls, my God, today. My God, today. I will say this: women are tired. Women are tired, child. They are tired. They came out in droves. And of course, Black women took it home. We went from 92% to 94%. My God, today, we are not playing. I will say the white vote, yikes, guys, what's going on? Is it not enough? What is going to be your breaking point? Even the Latinos woke up. What is going to be your breaking point? My God, today. Also, shout out to the Asian community. 82%, they trying to do Black American numbers. I said, oh, let me find out. Y'all getting information. I know that's right. I know that's right. I said, oh, come through. Come through, Jersey. Oh, we're not playing. We're not playing. That, guys, that's a big deal. Jersey was going hella red. Jersey was going hella red. So for the citizens of New Jersey to come out like that was crazy. I'm just going to say this right now. Overall, Black people showed up and showed out. We told y'all we were resting. That didn't mean we weren't going to act. We weren't going to work when it needed to be. We are protesting in a different way where we can survive. We told y'all we was going to show up when it was time. It's hard being the Beyonce of humanity. Black people showed up and showed out. Let's move on to my adopted home, Cali. Prop 50. So Prop 50 passed in Cali with overwhelming numbers. I will say this, Cali. California is what, 39 million people? It's embarrassing, y'all, that under 10 million people voted for Prop 50 out of almost 40 million residents. Like, come on. Like, this, we can do better than this. But I'm just happy that it passed. So basically what Prop 50 does is legally gerrymander seats and votes for California. So it basically just took away Republican power in California and gave California five more votes, points, seats, we got a bit more power now. And we only did that because Texas was trying to gerrymander their districts to, or they did. They weren't even trying. When they were trying to do it, Gavin Newsom said, well, you do it and I'm going to do it better. And so what happened was Texas forcibly gerrymandered their districts and removed Democratic power and gave more power to Republicans. So now when it's time for the Electoral College and when all that happens, they're gearing up for the next presidential election. So when that happens, Texas is going to have a bit more power, but Cali now has a bit more power than Texas because we legally gerrymandered our district. So we now have more Democratic power than Republican power because Gavin Newsom redid the map and gave Cali a bit more power. And I'm hoping that I do believe that a few other Democratic states are trying to follow suit in Gavin's leadership with gerrymandering as well, because Republicans are doing that all over the nation to give themselves more power during the electoral college. So if that's the game that they want to play, we finally have Democratic leadership that said, if you want to play ball, let's go. But I got to say this again. I'm glad that it passed, but under 10 million people voting, when it's 40 million of us, we got to do better. And people were going crazy over these numbers. People were going crazy over these numbers. Like, oh, 6 million people vote. I'm like, that's not a lot. But listen, it was enough to get it passed. But my God, today we needed better numbers. But I'm glad that it got passed. Now let's look at the exit polls for Prop 50 again. Women are showing up and showing out, and of course, it's the Black women. Of course, it is the Black women that are coming out in full force. But the Black community, again, the Black community ate. The Black community ate down. A lot of people were just saying they were disappointed in the Latino community. They thought the Latino community would have the same amount of numbers as the Black community. But I just want to say this. A lot of Latinos are white, guys. A lot of Latinos identify as white. So you have to realize those numbers are a bit jumbled because a lot of them identify differently. And with them identifying differently, out of all of Cali, 71% is not bad. But shout out to the Asian community. What is going on? Put me in the Asian community group chat. Because y'all, let me tell you something. Y'all resting and moving too. Something is going on because the Asian numbers across the nation is crazy. They are putting up Black American numbers. Y'all got the memo. The Asian community said, listen, you don't got to worry about me no more. I'm going to get information. These numbers are crazy. I think, you know what, guys? I'm going to be honest with you. I was concerned about Orange County. Orange County did some crazy numbers, and I'm thinking it's the Asian community that did that. I think the Asian community pulled Orange County through. My God, today, what is happening here? Oh, I also have to talk about this. I can't bring it up because it's just, Cali is big and there's so many freaking counties. But hold on, I got so many things open. I had to talk about these numbers for sorry, I got too many things open on my computer. So let me start closing some stuff. Hold on. I just want to see the map, please. Let me see the map. Okay, here it is. So, um, the I think what gagged mostly everybody from California was how really red counties voted for Prop 50. And I think the most shocking one was Fresno. Nobody could believe that Fresno voted for Prop 50. Everybody is tired, y'all. Everybody is tired. I was so concerned. I was concerned about Manhattan Beach. I was concerned about Laguna Beach, and I was concerned about Huntington Beach. I didn't even consider Fresno because I was just like, we're not getting Fresno. Fresno voted for this. Trump was the best thing that ever happened. I hate to say it. My God, today, this second term is waking everybody up. The white community is taking a lot longer, but the Asian community is shocking me, child. What is going on? What is going on? Anyway, let's move on to Abby. Abigail Spanberger. She is the one that everybody was saying, y'all, please vote for that white lady. Abigail Spanberger wins the Virginia governor race. She was running against Winsome Earl Sears, who is a Jamaican-born Black woman who is also a Republican. And the Republicans put her up because they thought that the Black people who have a resounding voice in that area would vote for a Black woman because a lot of them just vote by race. So they thought that we would do the same thing as well. That is not how it went. Abigail Abigail kicked Winsome's Black behind. And there were so many Republican pundits who were absolutely shocked that the Black community did not get behind Winsome. Y'all don't know us. I think so many people study our culture, copy our culture, infiltrate our culture, but still know nothing about the Black American community, the Black community as a whole. But y'all don't know anything about us. We are notoriously always on the right side of history, and a lot of times we have to leave some of our people because a lot of them are not on the right side of history. Like, thinking that we would just support somebody because they're Black is absolutely ridiculous. They got to be a Black person that's also has the same mindset of the community. And I think what happened with Winsome is that she probably would have had a much better chance. I don't think she would have won, but I think the numbers would have looked a lot differently if she did not have that disastrous debate with Abby. It was terrible. She knew absolutely nothing. She proved that she was completely uneducated, period. Period. Not even just about Black issues. She was just completely uneducated and did not know what she was talking about. And I think they just put her up because she was Black and they were hoping that Black people would just vote for her. There was even a fight at one of the election polling places where there was a Black family and a white family. And the white family was trying to bait not the Black family, the Black poll workers, trying to bait them into some kind of argument or fight. Like, they were being extremely aggressive because the results were coming in that Abby was beating Winsome. And one of the ladies, when they finally decided to leave, she screamed, "I voted for the Black lady." Well, it didn't work because she did not win. Spanberger, she got 65% of the female vote. and 93% of the Black vote. Winsome got 7%. My community is undefeated. My community is undefeated. And look at the Asian community. Y'all had a meeting. Y'all had a meeting. Ain't no way y'all this organized across the nation in every election. Y'all had a meeting. Good job. Touche. Good job. Because ain't nobody watching y'all. So y'all know how to move. Touche. Touche. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Y'all had a meeting. Good job. Good job. I will say, I thought it would have been the Latino community that would have came around. I just, what is happening here, child? What is going on? But Abby was able to bring it home. And our girl Abby is now the winner, the projected winner. Well, she's not the projected winner. She is finally the winner of the Virginia governor's race. So we have a woman Democratic governor in Virginia, and we have a woman Democratic governor in Jersey. Guys, those states are very important. Listen, you say whatever you want. The Democrats been working. Now, they've been getting on my nerves because I'm like, what are y'all doing? I don't feel like y'all doing enough. They was doing something. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. New York, Virginia, Jersey. Whoever the next Democratic nominee for president is, I feel like they're going to do Obama numbers. They're going to do Obama numbers because it was the local elections that helped push that vote forward for Obama both times. Whoever he or she is, please, listen, I don't know if I want it to be a woman. I just don't trust Democrats with a woman at the highest position in this nation. But whoever the person is, I think they're going to do Obama numbers because the foundation is being set for them to do that. Hope Corps is back. Let's move on to Atlanta. I know DC is Chocolate City, but I feel like Atlanta should be Chocolate City too. I always want to call Chocolate City, but it's Atlanta, the Black Hollywood. So Democrats Peter Hubbard and Alicia Johnson have delivered an upset in Georgia's off-year special election Tuesday, defeating two Republican incumbents on the state's Public Service Commission. The double victory marks the first time the Democratic Party has won a statewide constitutional office in Georgia since 2006 and reshapes, hallelujah, the political landscape ahead of the pivotal 2026 midterm elections. As of 10:15 p.m., Alicia Johnson led with about 60% of the vote, according to the Georgia Secretary of State website, while Hubbard carried 60.7% of the vote. Local elections matter, and this is how we win. 2006. It is 2025. My God, today, that man is such a disastrous president. The Klan is flipping on him. Because this is the thing, guys, for these people to win, Republicans had to flip. Hope is back. Hope is back. Now let's move on to Philly. Our boy Larry Krasner once again is the district attorney. In his victory speech, he quoted Too Short and Blow the Whistle, because that is now the song of Philly right now. This is the thing. I was not shocked that Krasner won it again. Like, Philly loves him. Every time he tries to run, every time he runs, he's going to get it. I don't know when his turn will be up, but Philly loves him. He's not going anywhere. I will say this, Philly, I love you. I got to call you out too. I called out Kylie. I got to call you out. 400,000 people voted and 1 million of you are registered to vote. Almost 400,000. Like, that's ridiculous, y'all. That's absolutely ridiculous. Let's do better, Philly. Let's do better. I know we come out for the presidential elections. Local elections matter. The smaller elections matter. Let's show up better next time. Especially for midterms. So by the end of this, Krasner got about 70%, 76% of the vote. And once again, shout out to Black people. Black people did this. Black people did this. Black people will hold the line. I will say this. For this blue wave, I hope that everybody who won their elections looks at those numbers and they give respect to the Black community. Because none of them would have been in those positions had it not been for the Black vote. None of them would have had that victory had it not been for the Black vote. Y'all have lost the white vote. So y'all have to now start really working better with the Black community and giving an office to the Asian community. Because, baby, they information. They got information. I am so gagged. They got information. Those two communities really need to have your ear. Also women. Also women. Get information, child. Get information. I also want to talk about this. Let's talk about Bucks County. Because this was a big deal as well. Joe Kahn. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh, hold on, y'all. I got to close some more stuff. I got too much stuff open on my computer. Oh, I got another. That's why. Hold on. Ooh. There it is. Joe Kahn becomes the first Democrat to be elected Bucks County District Attorney since the 1800s. Kahn, a former Bucks County solicitor, bested Republican incumbent Jennifer Shorn, who was appointed district attorney in January 2024. Joe Kahn has declared victory over the Republican incumbent Jennifer Shorn, becoming the first Democrat to be elected district attorney since the 1800s. Kahn garnered more than 54% of the vote, according to the county's unofficial election results. Bucks County voters elected him, Kahn said, because they just want good government. They want people who are going to show up and fight for them. He told WHYY News, and we ran a campaign that was authentic about me being a dad who was just trying to build a better world for his kids. And I think it connected with the people. The former Bucks County solicitor ran an aggressive campaign criticizing Shorn for not covering a grand jury investigation into child abuse allegations at a Central Bucks Elementary School and her decision to not prosecute pipelines leak in Upper Makefield Township that was identified earlier. During this campaign, I had the pleasure of being on an amazing team, Shorn said. My fellow candidates are wonderful and highly qualified people who truly love their community. Some were very unfairly portrayed during the campaign. There were untruths and misinformation being peddled regularly, but we ran an honest campaign. And I am proud to have gone through this with them. We're in one of the darkest periods of American history, certainly in my lifetime, he said. The fact that Bucks County looked at what was going on and decided to elect the first ever Democrat as district attorney, voting for a Pakistani kid who grew up in Northeast Philly. Come on. And is trying to make sure that the public schools that his kids go to are going to be safe. I think that's going to send a beacon of hope across the country and maybe the world. And we're going to get out of this. America is coming back, and we're going to get back on the right path, which America has always done. As somebody from Philly, I want to let you know this is a really big deal. Bucks County, hella red. They try and lie and say that, oh, we're a purple township. You're not. Bucks County is hella red. Everybody knows, right? I'm telling you, Philly, Pittsburgh, and Harrisburg. That's it. That's as blue as you're going to get in Pennsylvania. Everything outside of those major cities, Klan country. Klan country. Pennsylvania has the highest concentration of hate groups in the United States of America. Not the South, baby. Pennsylvania. So everybody knows, like, you just don't go outside the big blue cities. And if you're going to them townships, you better go with some kind of protection, because it gets crazy up in them real red townships. So I want to talk about that because that's a big deal. A big deal. They have not had Democratic leadership since the 1800s. They are lying when they on the news when they talk about, oh, we've been a purple. No, it's never been purple, baby. They've always been red. I will say there are Philadelphians who get a bit established and moved out there and keep their liberal politics, but the Republicans have had a hold on Bucks County for a very long time. So again, to have a Democratic DA, Pakistani, and from Northeast Philly, game changer. That's a game changer. Also, word on the street from my Philly people is that a lot of them had issues with ICE. Philly did not like the fact that Bucks County was real lenient on ICE, and they, a lot of the neighboring townships had an issue with that as well. But I also think that vote was able to happen because I think a lot of Philadelphians moved out there once they become established and, moved that county blue. However, I also think in order for him to win, there are Republicans who had to have flipped and said, well, this is a bit too much. Like, I like my conservatism. I don't like it like this. It's getting a little too crazy for me. So Bucks County flipping, that's really good. That's really, really good. Not just for midterm elections, for the big election that everybody comes out for, because that's letting the opposition know that Pennsylvania might, because Pennsylvania, you never really know with her. You never really know with her. You know, with the big cities, you know how they're going to go. But outside of her, you never really know. But this is a little wake-up call that she might be blue-black the next presidential election. And my God, today, Bucks County. Whoever is the next Democratic presidential nominee is going to do Obama numbers. I am calling it. They are going, the stage is being set for them to do Obama numbers. Like, this is crazy. Let's move over to the Big D. Aren't they Motor City, right? Is Detroit Motor City? Let me know in the comments. Mary Sheffield is elected Detroit's next mayor. She will make history as the first woman to lead the city. Detroit City Council President Mary Sheffield made history Tuesday night, November 4th, becoming the first woman ever elected mayor in the city and concluding a campaign cycle she led from start to finish. The Associated Press and CNN called the race for Sheffield, who defeated Triumph Church pastor Simon Kinloch Jr. with 77% of the vote to Kinloch's 23%, with 429 of the 430 precincts reporting early Wednesday morning. Sheffield 38 celebrated Tuesday night with hundreds of friends and family and supporters at a glitzy event at the MGM Grand Detroit. Kinloch's team watched results from the Garden Theater. She says, I am told it was the largest margin of victory in history of the city of Detroit, Sheffield said to a group of reporters before taking stage at her election. I feel like today was a mandate by our city, she said. And then she added, everyone is going to have a seat at the table with this administration. Later, she told the packed crowd, tonight our city adds another chapter to its great history. Throughout Detroit's 324-year history, 75 mayors have led this city. Not one has been a woman. But tonight, Detroit, we know that changes, and you change it, Detroit. I will say this. That silk press is amazing. I watched her speech. I got chills too, y'all. I got chills too. What I loved is that there was so much hope in that speech. When she said a seat at the table, everybody was like, ah! That's what's going to win. Inclusion, empathy. That's what's going to bring it home for anybody who is running. For anybody who is running for any available seats that are coming up, especially midterm elections. That's what's going to get you. Hope, inclusion, empathy. That's what's going to win. I also loved the fact that while she was talking, I just heard this beautiful Black American regional accent. Like her voice was so familiar. Hope is back. Hope is back. And while we have some hope, I want to come back to Mom Zaddy. Listen, the Muslim and South Asian community, listen up. From a Black American, I want to say this. Protect your boy. Protect your boy. Here is why I say that. I come from a community that made a lot of progress in this nation. We shed a lot of blood. And what I know, and what my people know, is that when the oppressor sees you having momentum, they will take out your leaders and then give them a holiday to celebrate their birthday 20 years later. Protect your boy. I don't know who or what y'all praying to. Add some more prayers. Spend some more time talking to Allah. Spend some more time working together as a community and being extremely watchful. Protect your boy. Because that speech, powerful. And then at the end, when he addressed Trump, who at this point is the mascot of white supremacy, they're taking out their own. Protect your boy. This ain't the time to be scared. This is not the time. He out there now. He out there now, and he was addressing every oppressor. I've seen it. I've heard about it from the elders. Protect your boy. Let's move on to Mississippi. The M.I. What is it? Crooked letter I. Mississippi. Child, there is a shift in the atmosphere. Let's go on down to Mississippi. Because this one brought tears to my eyes. And here's why I brought tears to my eyes, because there were so many people on my timeline who were just in awe and just crying about it, because it was such a huge deal. So we have here an MI crooked letter. Oh, sorry, I just remembered there's a company I just purchased from owes me a refund. Anyway, so let's get into the Mississippi special elections. Mississippi Democrats made significant gains in Tuesday night special legislative elections, breaking the Republican Mississippi Senate supermajority. Mississippi. If you don't know the history of Mississippi, start learning it. With Democrats nabbing 2 Republican-held Mississippi Senate seats and flipping a Mississippi House seat. 6 Senate seats were up for a special election on Tuesday, along with 1 House seat, because a federal court ordered the state to create more Black majority legislative districts early this year. 3 other races for vacated seats, 2 in Senate, 1 in House, were also contested. Here are the Democrats that flipped seats: John Dupree, Justin Crosby, and Teresa Gillespie Ism. Flipped 3 seats from Republican to Democratic in Mississippi. Whoever is the Democratic presidential nominee is going to do Obama numbers. This is how it happens. Local elections matter. If you are not plugged into your local elections, plug in now. Because those people, boots on the ground, those are the ones that are going to do the work to pave the way for a presidential victory. Mississippi and Bucks County are flipping. That orange demon, I hate to say it, was the best thing to happen for Democrats. Maybe that's, you know what? Let's talk about it. Maybe that's why they weren't fighting. Because I was just like, what is going on? Like, I can't believe the Democrats are just letting this man bulldoze through America. Now I know why. Nancy Pelosi said, my work is done. My work here is done. I'm going to retire. I was like, why is Nancy retiring? Then I see this blue wave. I'm seeing Bucks County flipping, Mississippi flipping. The Asian community showing out, baby. Whoever is the Democratic presidential nominee, whoo, it's going to be a blowout. I promise you, the election is going to be called at like 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It will be daylight when that election is called. That's what it was like with Obama. We were still voting. And they called the election. We were like, wait, no, we have to vote. They were like, we don't need it. He won. My God, today, Star fam. Hope is back. And I want to end with this video right here. This came up on my timeline. There was a special, hold on. I think it was a special mayor election in a small town in Georgia. Just watch. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, that's Lala. The rich bourgeoisie. The rich celebrity bourgeoisie will not save you. Here it is.
And very sure our teams worked very hard on this and have done a great job today. Good turnout. Kristen has the results of the contested races.
All right, so we're going to go with lost first. And for yes, we have 1,027 votes, which is 73.62%. Over no for 360 votes at 26.38%.
posted outside in just a few minutes.
Okay, so for mayor, the city council, we won't go over that because it was uncontested. But for mayor, we have Tim Coleman with 282 votes at 44.2%, and Rashida Taylor with 327 at 51. And David Waters had 29 votes at 4.5%.
So if you don't, oh, hold on. Yeah, so if you don't know what happened there, Rashida Daniel Taylor, she was running for mayor in Meter, Georgia. Meter, Georgia is a small town in Georgia with a 51% white population and a 31% Black population and a 7% Hispanic population. And for a very long time, Bucks County numbers, it has been a white-led conservative mayor that they have had. So it was a really big deal that Rashida was elected mayor in Meter, Georgia. Like everybody in the comment section of that video was just crying for her because those people who are from there were just like, this is unheard of, guys. It was a really, really big deal. So there is a blue wave happening on a national scale. And it's starting in the small towns. It's starting in the local elections because that's where it counts. Last but certainly not the least, Moms for Liberty lost every election. Every election. We all know that Moms for Liberty got into the school boards and they are responsible for the lies of calling Black Americans, immigrants, people who they're saying that Black Americans were not enslaved. They were Africans who came here happy and wanting to work for free to build America. They are the ones responsible for that. They are the ones removing Black American history, Asian American history, and Latino American history from history books. And a lot of, not the majority, but the majority in the South in their history books. So they are the ones who are responsible for teaching white American history and removing the contributions of people of color and women. And they were all up for re-election. 31 of them, they lost every vote. We knew the pendulum would swing back. We didn't know that she would swing back this fast. Shout out to you, America. You did it. That's all I have to say. What do you guys have to say? Let's get into it. We got some super chats. I want to start off with So Steph. Thank you, So Steph, for the super sticker. We got a super chat from Nonsense Behavior. Nonsense Behavior said, when we get the 1984 presidential electoral map in the blue version, if you've ever seen that map, you know that it looks crazy. I have not seen it. I have not seen it. Where can I find it? Where can I find it? Guys, hope is back. Hope is back. And here's the thing. This only works if we all work together. That's the thing. I feel like we are this close to getting class consciousness. I feel like it's happening. I feel like it's brewing. Hey, Busola, thank you so much for being here. Love Like You Are said, hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Very hopeful for this live. I work in politics in New York City, so this is very much up my alley. Oh, absolutely. Amen. Thank you so much for being here. If you have anything to contribute to what I said, please, if you work in politics, go right ahead. I'm just a citizen. I know some things. I don't know everything. Please contribute to the conversation. Yeah, he's a Nepo baby. And the reason why I know that he was a Nepo baby is because Deborah Messing was not going to stop until everybody knew that. She was just like, he's a Nepo baby who never had a job. What does he know? He knows something. He know how to talk. He know how to talk to the working class man. He know how to talk to the immigrant community. He know how to do something. And I also think his youth worked for him as well. Like, people are just like, we are tired of these, very old people making decisions for a future they will not see. Love Like You Are said, and shout out to Mississippi for breaking the GOP supermajority. Yes. Yes. His mama wrote it. His mama wrote it. Give me shout out to that. I didn't understand the appeal of the film either, but damn it, the 21st century is an eye-opener. I didn't get it. I just did not know why it was such a big deal. But now as an adult watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I was just like, y'all don't like each other? Y'all the same skin? Like, you remember the scene where like her family was like fighting him and saying she can't be with him? And I was like, they're the same skin color. But I was a child. Yeah, listen, we always have to start with hope. You know what I mean? He's going to do as much as he can, but he can only do that if there's power with in those local elections. If there's Democratic power, he can do it. And that's just the thing. He will have opposition on every hand, especially since he called out the head Klan member in charge. He's going to have a lot of opposition. So his people need to stand behind him. Love Like You Are said, Zoran worked in the States as an assemblyman. They didn't like that he didn't go through the corporate way of the Dems. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Guardian Angels. Yes. He has been around since the 90s. I remember him from the Montel Williams show. He used to always be on that show with the same outfit. BB Girl said, didn't Cuomo say he was going to Florida if he loses? Okay, but none of them are leaving. Who the hell is leaving New York for Florida? They're lying. They're lying. And Cuomo outspent him. The people, class consciousness. I think it's happening. Oh, yes. So it doesn't matter, right? But they were trying to make it. See, this is the thing. People like Deborah Messing, they tried the Islamophobia. It didn't work, right? So then they tried racism with he's brown. It didn't work. So then they were just like, oh, he's a Nepo baby, because the only reason why they went with the Nepo baby argument was because he started to have traction with poor and working class New York voters. So that is why they said, oh, you can't trust him. He's a Nepo baby. Well, so was Cuomo. So what is the truth? Give me shout out that Cuomo and Adams basically handed Young Buck the election. They sure did. They were terrible. He had no competition. If we're keeping it honest and keeping it buck, he had no competition. Adams was awful for the whole New York City, but Cuomo really white man himself out of the job. Sure did. Yeah, it was weird. I'm like, how do you go from governor to mayor? Retire. Yeah, it's absolutely weird. It's a sick obsession with power. He absolutely was. Remember, 9/11, Giuliani, also, he screwed it up. Hannah said, I get that he is a Dem, but I hate how people compare him to Obama. They're saying like he's like an Obama. He's not Obama. I will say, I think he absolutely studied him. I think that speech. I think he absolutely walked in his footsteps, right? Because remember, Obama, what was he? He was a city. I remember I can't think of it right now. Wasn't he a community organizer? Yep, he was a community organizer in Chicago. So he knew how to talk to the poor. He knew how to talk to the working class. He knew how to talk to the middle class. He knew how to talk to everyday Americans. And that's what pushed Zoran over, was the fact that people felt like he was one of them. Like they could talk to him and he would hear them. Although he was a Nepo baby, they felt like he heard them. And had this blue wave not happened, I don't think she would have. I don't think she would have. But good for her. It's time. It's time for millennials to take charge. I don't know what's going on with Gen X, but it's time for millennials to get in office. Give me shelter said Democratic millennials. Give me shelter said, let's see what Mom Donnie does, considering he used 90% of Kamala Harris' campaign talking points to win his city's race, but said he couldn't commit to voting for her. Here's the thing. I think, and I hope that the infighting with Dems, I hope they're able to get that together and come together for the win. Because with the Democratic infighting, it opened the door for leftists to come in and cause a lot of confusion. A lot of it I won't say leftists, internet leftists to come in and cause a lot of confusion. And I feel like had it not been for a lot of the TikTok leftists, the internet leftists who created chaos for money, had it not been for them trying to pin the genocide in Gaza on her, had it not been for that, I think he absolutely would have gotten behind her because it was a smart thing to do. But I really think that the leftists made those waters murky. But I didn't forget that either. I didn't forget that either. And I will say, watching this blue wave, a part of me initially felt so bad for Kamala Harris because I was just like, damn, why couldn't everybody get behind her? And then I was just like, this happened because of her. Had she been the president, I don't know if we would have had this wave. I think Americans had to see what America was like without the covering of Black Americans. With us being erased, with our power being pushed back, with the candidates that we got behind being attacked and moved out of office, I think the rest of America had to see what we were protecting them from. And I think now that everybody is realizing in not even a year how bad it has gotten and realizing it will get worse, because the people who told you that it has been worse, we're protecting you from what it is, you didn't want to listen. So here you go. I also think she won that election, though. I think she won. Miranda said, we were joking and laughing all the way to the polls. We joked the Newsom was asking us if we wanted to fight with Texas. And we were like, all right, bet, let's go. Hannah said, where were these people when it was time to vote right last year? Yep. But even now, the election numbers, it's like a small percentage of Americans that really show up and vote. It's insane. Oh, so yeah. Oh, he experienced it terribly. Brown Girl 44 said, yes, I have said this. Trump is so bad, he's going to act. Yep. Love Like You Are said, I think Zoran would have still won. We were fed up with Eric Adams. Yeah. No, I don't. I think that it's a historic win, but I feel like he still would have probably pulled it off. I don't think that I think it would have been a close race. I think because Trump was in office, it just was a blowout. But had Trump not been in office, it would have been a close race. That race would not have been called that night. Kankles. Meg said Kankles thinks because he's buying everybody's silence, Epstein's files, he'll get away with anything. No, sir. Nope. Amina said, hey, Nikki and Star fam, so happy to see you. See some good news. Oh, I love good news for all of you in the USA. Thank you so much. Yeah. That was a perfect time to swoop in and take everybody's sympathy. Boogie said, Eric, did those calls also say that a Nigerian prince has decided to give the lottery payment? He is such a liar. Give Me Shelter said Conno Tramp and his whole administration gave away every Austin Powers villain playbook during and after the election. Lucky for them, they govern a mostly stupid and crooked country. Yep. L Boogie said the people talking about leaving New York are the ones who make New York annoying. Absolutely. Everybody's talking about Lena Khan. I know nothing about her. Why is she so amazing? Give Me Shelter said Deborah Messing and Michael Rappaport said they are moving, but they better not come here to Jersey or at least stay in Bergen or Warren County. Can I tell you, everybody from Jersey was saying that on Threads. They were just like, especially for Mike Rappaport, they were like, don't come here. Don't come here. Kirsten said Ramona Singer and all the maggots are crashing out. He not only defeated Kumo, but billionaires who donated to slander him. Yep. And he addressed it in his speech. Callie Steve said Mom Donnie will never take APAC money. I hope so. I hope he stands his ground. That's the thing, guys. We got to watch them. We got to stay on top of these candidates because the establishment is strong, child. Hey, Mama Star, thank you for being here. Kirsten said, I'm the same age as Zoran and felt proud as a millennial. You should. Meg said, I'm happy for all the Democratic candidates who won. With that said, this energy we have right now needs to be the same for the midterms next year. As long as that man is in office, is president, I think it will. Because I have a sneaky suspicion that I don't think the government is opening back up. I think that was the plan. Give Me Shelter said, Mom Dottie's speech is proof positive. He raps to himself in the mirror every morning like Issa Rae and Insecure. He probably loved the hell out of Insecure. Dahlia said, I had no idea Mom Dottie was 34 until they announced the results. Beard's out here aging men. I hope New York doesn't suck the life out of him. He's going to age. He's going to age rapidly. He is the mayor of one of the most powerful cities in the United States of America. That is a lot of stress. That's a lot of stress. He's going to age, but he's brown. He'll be fine. Hey, Simone. Simply Simone said, the way I celebrated Mom Donnie winning, and I'm a whole Georgia resident, we were all like watching it. Like in Cali, we had watch parties. Love Like Yours said, I was hoping Minnesota was going to go the way of electing Omar, but they stayed with the old guard. She had a really hard time. But I was shocked about Minnesota as well. Give Me Shelter said, Mom Donnie definitely studied the greats and they are black, biracial Obama and Harris. Lavender Girl said he's standing 10 toes down on a mass murdering psychopaths, Israel, unlike most other Dems, because they took money. That's why it's so that's why he's so refreshing. But the minute he takes $1, it's a wrap. So let's hope he doesn't take any money, guys. Dahlia said, today everybody's a New Yorker. Absolutely. Smart. I keep on telling y'all, women are the wisdom. Men are the muscle. It only works if the women are leading. Point blank, period. Meg said SNAP benefits and people not being able to fly home during the holiday season were the final. I think so. I think that was it. And if Republicans were smart, they would have told Trump, release some benefits, take them back after the election. Because people went to that, a lot of Americans went to the voting polls hungry and angry. And the majority of his base is on SNAP. That's why so many of them flipped. They want their SNAP. They probably have the same ridiculous conservative views, but they want their benefits. Give Me Shelter said it was a good energy. Mom Donnie did in his speech what Democratic voters have been begging for. We need the rebels to fight the Imperial Army. You can tell he has a diverse team. Yep. And he has a youthful team, a team that listened to the people. Love Like You Are said Queens is a toss-up. It's very purple, plus Cuomo and Trump are from there as well. Yeah, I was just so gagged about those numbers. Oh, nobody was. I will say Harlem has been gentrified, but the Black American community is holding it down. Dahlia said, every time we have a government shutdown, we talk about making a change. Yet once the government is up and running, we forget all about our suffering. We need a massive overhaul of the way we do business. Absolutely. We as American voters should never be comfortable, especially Black Americans, Black people in general. Why are you ever getting comfortable? Don't ever get comfortable. The job is not done. Love like you are said the black community outvoted everyone in the polls for Zoran. Always on the right side of history. Constantly disrespected by everybody, but always saving America. It's always us. Hey, it's Nasvi. Thank you for being here. Dahlia said, I never considered myself an immigrant, but also never took it as a problem. Us black people and natives are in this weird liminal space. Not immigrants, but not welcomed either. Yeah. Give Me Shelter said, black people have secured all the Democratic wins by over 90% in every competitive race. Meanwhile, Dems keep losing Latino and working class white votes, but they never thank us ever. I will say this. Black men showed up and showed out because black men, their numbers for the presidential election was in the 80s. I was like, ugh. For me, that was disappointing. They was in the 90s for this one. I said, oh, look who can vote now. Dolly said, I never consider myself. Oh, I got that one. Hey, KT35 said, now that black Americans see this, let's move accordingly. That part, period. Give Each Other said, I agree. Y'all let everyone into the cookout. Now mad that they are putting their feet up on the furniture and controlling the volume. Now, what have we learned? I think the lesson has been learned, hopefully. Dahlia said, I mean, the man is an immigrant. Why get mad that he is centering the immigrant experience, especially in a city that has a very long, strong history of immigration? You cannot do that. You cannot center the immigrant community in a nation that was built and made safe by black Americans. They could not have a space in that city had it not been for the bloodshed and work of black Americans. Mamdani had his largest voting base was black people. And in that voting block of blackness was black Americans. Their votes matter, their presence matter, and they need to be recognized as well. Kay said, I agree, though, that he wasn't coming from a place of trying to. I don't think so. I do not think so. He was just focused on trying to bring together people who did immigrate here. Absolutely. But that is always, it's not just on him, right? That is always the talk about New York, that it is a city of immigrants. I myself, as a black American, had to be checked when I moved there. The black American community said, oh no, girl, we're here. We've been here. And we're the reason why everybody else is here. Give us some respect. Because I, as a Philadelphian, thought the same thing. But again, it's like black Americans got to make their, you gotta make your voices heard. That's why they really went full out for the Black American parade in New York this September. I think it was in September. I think it was September. Let me know, guys. I plan on going next year because they really went all out. And it's just like, you cannot remove that community because you do not have the victories that you have today without that community. That's what a lot of the immigrant community has to realize. You are here because of Black Americans. That's why I always say you have to do your education on this nation before you move here. Because if you don't, you'll have what we have today. Uneducated immigrants voting for their oppressor, getting snatched up off the street, but still voting for this administration because you don't know the history of this land. And I say this in every video where I talk about America and its race problems. You will not, if you are not white, you will not learn how, you will not know how to survive this land and prosper in this land if you do not sit at the feet of Native Americans and Black Americans, because nobody knows how to survive this land like those two communities. It is imperative for you to learn from them. If you don't, you'll be here. You'll be here. Hannah Violet said, the astrology girlie said next year, especially starting February, we will see a shift in politics and the system. Amen. Amen. Really? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's so sad to see. But again, we didn't really know her. We just knew her from her character. It's crazy to see her Instagram. Scary work. Scary work. K. Marie said, I'm coming from the beginning, but yeah, Kuma was an OG Nepo baby, more so creepy old Italian family that governed New York for way too long. His father, Mario, was the OG governor. Yeah. Yep. And guys, what what I showed you, that was like the least offensive thing. Busola says she has fallen into anti-Palestine rabbit hole. It's just the radicalization of that lady it's so weird. It's so weird. Yes, everybody was saying that. Everybody was just like, we love Karen and Jack anyway. Give Me Shelter said Mamdani is with the. He tried to classify himself as African American because he was born in Africa, as if he didn't culturally adhere to a whole ethnic, but the American way of life. I don't think that. I will say that there are a lot of people who do that because technically he is like African. You know what I mean? Like I think coming here and trying to find your identity in a place where you are, if you look a certain way, that becomes your identity, not if that is that is who you actually are, how you identify. I will give him grace for that because it has to be confusing. It has to be. I don't think that he was pulling a Mindy Kaling's brother. I don't think he was doing that. And if you don't know that, Mindy Kaling's brother said that he was African American to get scholarships and go to school on a scholarship as an African American. And then he later came out and said, I'm South Asian, and wrote a book about how stupid the Black community is and how he was able to benefit off of, Black, off the Black American identity that he co-opted for his own personal gain. I don't think Mom Zaddy did that. I don't think I don't really do that, but I'm feeling hopeful. So I said, why not? Why not? Hannah said, Lala has been a disappointment ever since she became besties with Kim K. The rich and celebrity bourgeoisie will not save you. She is not Black. She is not Latina. She's rich. That's our identity. That's our identity. And everybody is talking about who is Lena. Tell me who Lena is, y'all. I didn't know anything about her, but everybody's just like, this woman is amazing. And I'm like, why? Who is she? What is there to say? Who's shocked? I am not shocked. I'm shocked that she waited this long to tell y'all who she was, but you could tell. You could tell. Give Me Shelter said Lala is one of those minorities who voted for the candidate who talks the worst crap about her people. 100% of the colonization mission is complete in Latin America. Yes, because in her mind, he's talking about those Latinos, not her. Not the rich ones like her. Also, the Latino community has a huge anti-immigrant issue because the way, especially here in LA, the way Latinos talk about each other in public is crazy. It's crazy. They be on the news saying the craziest things about Latinos who immigrate here. And they be having the thickest accents and be like, I came here legally. Lock them up, Trump. What? Weird. That community got a problem. They got to work on it. That is very weird to see. Hannah said, I was shocked when they showed Mariska Hargitay liking a post about, listen, she's white first, guys. White and rich first. A lot of times these people are showing you a character and y'all like the character. So y'all think that is who the actor is. That could not be further from the truth. May said a celebrity musician who has surprised me is Cardi B. She's a lot more informed about politics and what's going on in the world than people realize. Yeah, and it's because of her accent. It's because of her accent. It's because of how she presents herself. But that kind of American is the one that knows the most about this nation. And those are the people we should be listening to. Cardi B got her issues, but she knows her politics. And a lot of the times, the people who politics affects, they know it better than anybody else. Opulent said, "Hello, Star family. Wanted to make sure I popped in for this one. Truly a reminder that we the people can do. Absolutely, the people united will never be defeated. Come on here. Love like you are said, Chris Christie effed up for the GOP New Jersey as governor. When the shutdown happened and he and his family were at the beach and everyone was at home, New Jersey said enough. Sure did. Sure did. Opulence had a small step on a very long path, but a step nonetheless. Where I live has a long way to go, but seeing others have progress really keeps me going. Set the standard. Amen. Evil work. And then the next day to put out a video of you defecating on the American people. How did you not expect a blue wave? At this point, I feel like he's rooting for Democrats. Kirsten said, I agree. People could ignore the ICE raids, but 47 million people are on Snap. Yep. That's the thing. For a lot of people that flipped, they flipped because it happened to them. Give me shelter. Remember, Chris Christie had 2 terms in Jersey before Phil Murphy's 2 terms. Cheryl makes it the 3rd Democratic governor leadership in a row. Period. Love like you are said, Michelle also ran unopposed. Her opponent was, Robert Kraft's son, but Bostonians cussed him out so bad that he dropped out. Yep. She's also progressive and likable. Yep. Give me shelter said, Elon Musk was out of the United States this election. He and Trump all but confessed more than once after November 2024. Also, Dominion voting machines were not used. Oh, always. We are the Isaiahs, the prophet Isaiahs of humanity. We see so far ahead, and nobody listens to us. Love like you are said, Black people, specifically Black women, were showing up and showing out for everyone on the polls. Absolutely. Boogie said, white people still on their good on both sides mess. Because here's the thing, guys. What's happening with the white community is, I think we talked about this before. We are living in the death rattle of white supremacy. White people will not be the majority within less than 10 years, right? So they are... not the entire white community, but those who are voting this way are doing this because they're scared. They don't want to be a minority. They don't want to be outnumbered, because those who are scared because of what they've done, what they have believed, and they are afraid of karma. So they're making the worst decisions. I knew when Trump won, I said, oh, the white community is desperate. They would have never voted for this person to represent them, but they had no other choice. Those people, the white people who think like that, are desperate and they are scared. So they are making these decisions out of fear because they do not want to be a minority. So they will go as far as forcing white women to have children they do not want, because they want to keep the numbers. That's why the workforce is the way it is. Because if you can keep the poor and working class bound and bind them with children and bind them with loans and taxes, and when you don't give them the freedom to grow and you keep them oppressed, you can control the numbers of voters for your base. And that's how that happens. That's how that happens. That's why women's health is so far behind in America than it would be anywhere else, because you don't want to give women choices. You don't want to give them freedom. Because if you give women freedom and you give women choices, the population will drop significantly. When you offer them freedom or family, a lot of women are going to take freedom. And they don't want that. So that's why our rights are being taken away. They're not taking away Black women's rights. They don't care about us having abortions or not. It's white women. But you can't just say it's just for white women. Because if you just do that, then white women who always side, not all, enough that it's a problem, who always side with white men will be like, wait a minute, I'm on your side. Why are you doing this to me? But they're not doing it to the ones that they have, right? This is not for Republican women. This is for liberal women. The woman who said, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live like that. That's all this is. We're in this because they cannot control liberal white women. Those are the ones they want. And because they can't get them, we all got to suffer. El Boogie said, resting does not equal not voting. Someday folks will get it. They never will, and that's okay. Move in silence like the Asian community. Move in silence like the Asian community. My God, today. My God, today. Landslide. My mom went to, because my mom, she had to, I voted, me and my sister voted earlier. My mom voted later. And she voted at a voting location closer to where we live. And she was just like, I had to go to 3 different places because the line for this election was around the block. And so she finally just found one place and she just stayed there until the line, until she was able to vote. But she was just like, it is insane. She was just like, it looks like a presidential election. California was not playing with Prop 50. Mama Star said the Asian community played the first time, but they didn't play this time. They got information. They got information. Callie Steve said it was a high turnout for an off-year special election. Absolutely. Love Like You Are said the polls weren't even closed and they already announced it. Yep. They did it. Dolly said, ironically enough, Arnold Schwarzenegger put me onto gerrymandering. I watched his lecture on how terrible it is, and he advised everyone to get rid of it. Listen, and I absolutely agree, but we got to play ball. We got to get in the game. Republicans are gerrymandering the hell out of their districts, and they are going to give themselves more power in the electoral college. We got to play ball. I hate to say it, but I agree. It's time. It is time. He's showing that he is not up for the position. I know not all 40 million are eligible to vote, but my God, today, 9 million Californians. It should have at least been like 25 million. It should have at least been that. Yeah, it's like, come on. Cali and Philly should have did better numbers. Give Me Shelter said Black people saved every election around the U.S. every time. Shout out to Black men who even outdid Black women. Yeah, they did. I was like, oh, y'all got the memo. Shout out to Black women. They only got to learn one time. It only got to take them one time. White people and Latinos, we need more spirit. Asian people doing better. Absolutely. Meg said, I think people remember how they felt around this time last year when we got cankles. People are suffering worse than they ever could think. And they said, nope, not today. And especially the holidays are coming up. And people do not have it. People do not have it. My mom said, I feel like Republicans elected officials voted Democratic because they want Dump out of office, but scared to speak because Dump have tapes on them. Absolutely. And they're also afraid to admit that they're wrong. I think once Trump is out, they're probably going to vote Republican again, but they're going to vote for a more moderate one, like one that's less insane. El Boogie said Black women across the board are like, oh, they want to tussle? Then let's tussle, period. Gagged me. 80% is crazy. 80% is crazy. The Asian community said, I'm in the game now. That is crazy, y'all. They said, put me in, coach. Dahlia says, so glad you said that, Nikki. People confuse nationality with race, ethnicity all the time. It's crazy. Mexico's president is a white Jewish woman. Yep. Still Mexican. Yep. I didn't even think about that, El Boogie. Yep, I did not even think about the nail salons. Oh my goodness. Miss Madriga said, not just a Republican, a hate mongering MAGA Republican. They think we only see race because they only see us in terms of stereotypes of race. Absolutely. You win some, you lose some. Give Me Shelter said the Heritage Foundation has a founder who majored in studying Black people. Yep, and their revolutions. Republicans are pissed that they keep getting it wrong. Love to see it because they don't know us. They study us, but they don't really know us. And that's the thing. A lot of people do not realize a lot of Black American culture, because of how we came here, is in secret. So a lot of people who see us and study us, you're only getting a small percentage of our culture. A lot of our culture is in secret. A lot of our culture is silent. Black Americans can be in the same room and have a whole conversation and not say a word. So much of our culture is in secret. You will never be able to figure us out. Ever. Ever. Kirsten said, Abby is a former CIA corporate Democrat, not the future of the party, but we'll take. That's the thing. And that's what I wish that everybody was in line like that for the presidential election. It's just like the problem with Dems, and I think they got it now. You got to have a perfect candidate. Baby, we just need a win. Let that candidate get in the office and let's push them to the right side of history. But the other option was Trump. And that is the problem, my biggest problem with the Democratic community. They have to have a perfect candidate. And baby, if you keep on waiting for the perfect candidate, we're going to continue to be here every time. El Boogie said, they don't really study us. They watch us and think they're getting the gist is enough. Add to that 0 real life meaningful interactions with us, and you get a stew of them not actually understanding us. Absolutely. Give Me Shelter said, white supremacists have it wrong. They think they have been studying us for centuries, but in fact, we've been studying them. And that's the thing. We know you better than you know yourself, child. And what we observed is absolutely pathetic. Betty said, so many Republicans voting Cuomo instead of Silva shows that Cuomo is centrist. Dems are basically Republican-light. Capitalist doormat owned by wealthy donors, not for the working class, thanks to Citizens United. Absolutely. Betty said, someone said the Red Hatters should be rocking their hats and them snap. Yep. Brett line, since that's what they voted for. Yep. Now you want to take down your flag. Now you don't want to wear your hat? No, baby. Wear that hat proudly. Showed up and putting up every election. Every election they were putting up numbers. And know this, right? The Asian community, we're not used to them putting up numbers so much. They put up numbers. They put up crazy numbers so much in all of these elections that they had their own block. Let's talk about it. The Asian community used to be in the other section. They never had their own block. They would put the Asian community in the other section. Now the Asian community got their own block. And I'm gonna let y'all know this. I'm gonna put you up on game, Asian community. Now that you're putting up them numbers, now that you got your own block, baby, get ready. Because opposition is coming. They're like, oh, you want to get in the ring? Bet. Just letting you know. Get ready. Get ready. Now that you're putting up them crazy numbers, now that you're trying to be Kobe, yeah, get ready. Get ready, child. Get ready. Tally C said we had to check some of our agent elders, but it's working. Well, you did a damn good job. Everybody got into formation. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Abby and Nikki, they were both college roommates. Ain't that crazy? And they're both from each other's state that they govern. That is crazy. Well, boots on the ground now. It's going to happen. I think we are. Now that we have power in those areas where we lost power or never had power, it's going to happen. Al Boogie said, unfortunately, the next candidate for president is going to probably have to be a white man for us to have a chance. But I like to think that I'm wrong. Absolutely. I think it's going to be, here's the thing. Either two things are going to happen. Either it's going to be discovered that Trump cheated and Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States of America. If that doesn't happen, the next Democratic presidential candidate is going to be Newsom, and I think he's going to pick Jasmine Crockett as his VP. Lies, legality, reality said opinion. The rise of China may be the reason Asian Americans are moving as a unit against the Trump scare. China's influence is showing the capitalistic paradigm isn't the way to govern. Good point. Gimme Shelter said Asians got tired of being lumped in with Latinos after that 2020 court case and those 2024 election results. The Eastern Asians called in the Southern Asians and said, but did y'all watch Sinners? Oh my God, not Sinners being the thing that turned the tides of the election. Simone said, my state did not disappoint with the Public Service Commission. Now we got to keep the momentum for the midterms and get that demon Kemp out. He gotta go. Santino said, VA stand up. We went blue down the board. Y'all sure did. Y'all were not playing. Governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. And VA is going to redraw the district. Yes, let's go. Dahlia said, Nikki, you got to remember, a lot of people who voted for Trump aren't bona fide Republicans. They were disaffected citizens, so they were ripe for the picking. You're right. True about that. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Gimme Chelsea said, I think perhaps some Republicans flipped, but also the third of the population that stayed home in 2024, even though every non-Black candidate who won repeated what Kamala Harris said in 2024. True that. Hit thumbs up. Meg said, what people don't understand is that the local elections are what makes and leads. Yep, they paved the way. They paved the way. Betty said, Black people protest in the booth where it matters the most. Performative parades, aka No King's protests, aren't impactful since admin doesn't care to listen to the people. Voting and boycotting are the most impactful. Absolutely. And I hope you are going to follow the Black American community's lead when we start financially boycotting more stores. Target is not it. Look out, because come Black Friday, there will be a list of places we are not shopping. Dahlia said, local and state elections matter way more than national. Absolutely. We have a feeder system. Dems, Republicans pull their people from the local state level. Absolutely. Obama was a local politician before he got plucked. Absolutely. Betty said, it's why the GOP is trying so hard to revoke voting rights and gerrymander to prevent Black people and women from voting. Absolutely. Some people said a judge just said Trump has to give people all of their SNAP tomorrow. Well, this is their second time doing that. They're forcing him now. They sent the judgment. He didn't apply to it. He didn't abide by it. So now they're going to force him. So we'll see. We'll see. Bucks County. If you from Philly, you know. You know. Yes, thank you, Black Lavender. Please like, share, and comment and subscribe, everyone. Kay said, FX, everything outside of Philly and Delco is Pennsylvania. Yep. And the worst way, unfortunately. Absolutely. L Boogie said, Pennsylvania is a political maniac. You don't know which version of her you're going to get. Absolutely. Miss Brunchica said, that's how I feel about Cleveland. I can't call it with the rest of Ohio, but I know we're going to represent over here. Yep. See, the big cities are where it's at for Pennsylvania. I know how Harrisburg is going to go. I know how Philly is going to go. I know how Pittsburgh is going to go. Everything else, who knows? Who knows? Silk Press was eating. Give Me Shelter said, this is just a special election year. We need to keep up this momentum for midterms. Let this legislator do the job they were hired to do before we platform them as a presidential candidates. Absolutely. I think I am very positive about the momentum. I think it's going to continue on. Here is why. That demon in office is angry. So he's going to become even more dangerous to the American people. So we're going to be forced to stay engaged because of how terrible he's going to make our lives. Hey, Spency, thank you for being here. No, you are right on time. Cameron said, yeah, Nikki, Detroit is Motor City. Thank you. AKA Motown. Yes. Dahlia said the Dems need to start identifying people who could be president right now. I can't think of anyone on the horizon. Most of their big names are old as Methuselah. I wouldn't want them to do that right now, but I do think the one who probably has the most momentum is Newsom with Jasmine as the VP. However, I still think it's too early for them to for them to call anybody. And I don't want them to start doing that because it's a long time coming and their mistakes could be made. So I don't want those people out there yet being the face of the next, Democratic nominee. And we're focusing on them and watching them and they're making mistakes. I want them all to form the year before the next election. And then we can be boots on the ground and then we can see who we want the year before the next Democratic presidential nominee election. That's when I want them to start forming. Right now, we don't know. Honestly, we don't know how much time we have with this man as president, but I just feel like it's too soon. Thank you, Jesus. It's about time. It's about time. Natalia said that silk press is fantastic. Makeup is great. Lighting is good. She reminds me. She does. She does. To his people, protect him. Protect him. Some people said Zoran's middle name is Kwame. It was given to him in honor of Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. Oh, I love that. I love that. Meg said, I cannot believe the South of the South in Mississippi turned so many seats blue. A change is here. Gibby Shelton said Kendrick told them to turn the TV off at the Super Bowl, and Mondami was inspired to tell Trump to turn his TV up. I said, oh, he bold with it. He bold with it. Miss Brown Sugar said, Mississippi stand up, flip 3 seats in the midst of such heavy gerrymandering. Absolutely, boots on the ground. And here's the thing. I hope and pray that for this blue wave, right, and everybody that was elected during this blue wave, I really hope that the voters who voted them into office, y'all got to stand 10 toes down for them. Y'all have to stand with them and y'all have to protect them because what a lot of them are doing right now under this administration is extremely dangerous. And these people are sticking their necks out for you. This is a different time. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Protect them and make sure they stay on task with what they promised that they would do, but also protect them so that the people who may want to harm them, they know that I'm gonna leave that one alone. They got too many people protecting them. It's gonna be a problem if I do that because we're dealing with an unhinged administration. Stand with these people because they are putting their lives on the line, literally. Yeah, I teared up. I was just like, wow. And see, this is the thing when people like for me, I have my issues with Texas. I have my issues with the South in general, especially Florida. I can't throw them away, right? Because I know that there are people there who are working their tails off to move their states forward. They are not red states, they are oppressed states. And there are people fighting every day to remove that oppression. And so I'm just like, don't throw those places away and be like, oh, well, the red states get what they deserve. No, they don't. Those people there do not deserve to suffer because you have to realize a lot of those decisions are not being made by the majority. Those states are heavily oppressed. So I was so proud of Mississippi because I know that was not easy. And it was a dangerous thing that they all did. Extremely dangerous for them. But you get to a point where you say, forget it. I'll risk it all for a better future. My God, today, protect these people. You voted them in. Now protect them so that they can do the job that you voted them in to do. Well, we got them. Now let's protect them. Let's support them and let's protect them. Betty said this blue waves mean GOP means GOP even more on offense to suppress the vote or rig the election. We got to make sure those Dominion machines aren't used and they can't be hacked like Muskrat did. Absolutely. Dahlia said, MAGA is imploding. You got Shapiro upset with Nick Fuentes and Black conservatives crying racist against the people who used to support them. It's glorious. Listen, we all knew it was going to happen because what? Tokens get spent. That one had me crying. The way she collapsed into her brother's arms, beautiful. Beautiful. Nonsense behavior. Thank you for the super chat. Nonsense behavior said, when we get, oh, I got that one. Ice Macchiato said, I'm in Europe right now and they're not happy about PMERT. Their funding got cut for research in hospitals out here too due to that man. What's PMERT? What's that? Who was that? Let me get the rest of my super chats and then I want to get some newer comments. Hey, Kylie C, thank you for the super chat. Kylie C says Silicon Valley dark money fueled the leftist misinformation. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it will come out. It will come out that those big leftist voices were paid. And I can't wait for the day. Love Like You Are said Lena Khan was the FTC chair in anti-monopoly. She sued Ticketmaster to break up them and stop junk fee. Oh, okay. Oh, we got a powerhouse on the team. I know that's right. I know that's right. Let me get a couple more and then I'll let you get out of here. May Bell said 100% we are here. I'm an immigrant because of the hard work of Black Americans and we never give them credit. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing that. Lies Legality said we need to question why people call Europeans immigrants when they were fleeing from a war-torn Europe. Truly, the U.S. is full of freedmen, Blacks, Indigenous people, refugees, and settlers, colonizers. Call it. Maymel said the Asian vote was 10% of the votes instead of the 17%. The Black vote was, but proportionally, the Asian vote percentage was higher. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Shay said most of the supporters are poor Southern whites. Then he took away their SNAP. Yeah, that was the F around and find out. DGF said the speedy gentrification and house snatching by the country for taxes in Detroit are attempts to break Black voters' stronghold. On Michigan, Big Gretch is in her last term. Oh yeah, she is. Who's going to replace her? Who is going to replace her? I got that one. Liza Gallagher said, immigrant imply many came here by choice. If we are paying attention to military colonial history, no one came to the U.S. by a choice. Liza Gallagher said, if we really want to be honest, Europeans were pirates. Stealing, looting equals stealing people. Talk about it. Talk about it. Dahlia said, I didn't realize how much the world pays attention to American politics until I lived in Germany. When we get a cold, the rest of the world gets the flu. Absolutely. America is a powerhouse. Like we don't give America her tins because we live here, right? And we're just like, girl, we're sick of her, right? You don't really appreciate your mom or your dad until you see how other people see them. And you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, they're great. They are great. America's that girl. America's that girl. Listen, the white community in America can absolutely be a lot better. But I tell you this, we have the best whites in the globe. You're not going to get white people like this anywhere else. Anywhere else. And that is because of the work of Black Americans. Black Americans pushed them to be better white people. You're not going to get this nowhere else, child. That's saying a lot. You're not going to get white people like this anywhere else. My God, today. So listen, America's that girl. Everybody talk about us because we're that girl. We're that girl. I wish we would just get it together. Whole family Whole family weird. Give me shelter said, I hope Indian and half Indian politicians stop fooling with the Kalins. They have major issues and we don't need that bad juju. May said, race is very different in America than it is outside of it. In the US, people are mostly forced to identify with race because of experience and just the social structure of the US and what you look like. And what you look like. I am said, white liberal Hollywood crashing out about this win in MAGA unicorn were not on my bingo card. Ciao. Give me shelter said, it's over, y'all. Wake up. Kiki came up with the Southern fried rice. Beyonce and Jay-Z sat across from Ibaka and Jared Kushner after calling Jasmine Crockett ghetto. They not like us. Class consciousness. Let's go. Kirsten said, I'm disappointed about Marissa because she's super Democratic. She's super Democrat, but also super Christian on the DL. Her husband, Peter Herman, is, and she basically converted. They are rich first. It's not even religion. They're rich first. They're rich first. Hannah said Cardi B may be knowledgeable on politics, but she is highly anti-Black and has a lot of hatred towards dark-skinned Black women. I don't know a lot about her, so I didn't know that. Shocked. May said, when Mom Donnie won, I was like, damn, the U.S. has a democracy? LOL, I hope that man stays safe. Me too. Kay said, great example of why many people feel African American as a term is too ambiguous and not accurate representation of ethnic Black Americans. That's why people are pushing for names like FBA and ADOS. I get that. I absolutely understand that. But for me, I pay homage to my elders and my ancestors. They crafted that identity for us, and I'm gonna stand beside them. I'm not gonna let that be taken away. And that's a problem with Black Americans today. We let so much be taken away. We allow ourselves to be erased. We allow the works of our ancestors and our elders to be undone. We got to hold the line. The baton has been passed. We dropped it. Let's pick it up and continue the race. I am said, I need Dems to play Mike Johnson and Steve Bannon's confessions. I mean, speeches about Dems ending Trump's presidency and sending them to jail on a loop until 2026 midterms. Listen, I knew the jig was up when a lot of them started fleeing the country. I said, oh, what's going on? You don't feel comfortable no more? Yeah. Tides is changing. Kirsten said we're also living in the death rattle of the American empire. Yep, she's about to be 250 and Western influence. That's why the rich have amped up the hoarding so they can live on a hill and go to Mars, using the poor to do it. Yeah, I knew that that's what they were trying to do. They kept on taking them trips to Mars. They're trying to find a habitable place. It won't work. Dolly said, I honestly think a lot of women would take family if it would look vastly different. I agree. And if they were in control, at least full partners. I absolutely agree. Me too. I love my second home. Boogie said, a few years back, I made a post on Facebook telling all my white liberal women friends that all this stuff was about them. So what y'all gonna do? It was crickets. And I said nothing, but I'm resting. That's what it is. It's not about us. They can't control them liberal white women. That's what all this is. They cannot force them to have the babies with them. They cannot force them to be in relationship with them or have their babies. And we all got to suffer. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Boogie said, I sent a letter to my Democratic congressman after this election and said, take note, fight or step down. Yeah, well, listen, I feel like those Democrats who weren't doing nothing are going to wake up because, baby, you will be replaced. It's game on for anybody. Ice Macchiato said, people really don't understand when they can vote. I was telling so many people I was voting and they thought it was my city only. I was like, no, it's all of Texas. I think it was Arkansas or Kansas. One of them were like calling their governor and saying that they can't find a voting a voting place to vote against Mom Donnie and vote for Cuomo. And they had to say on the news, you cannot vote in New York's election. I don't think the white community is racist. I don't think it's racism that makes them the way they are. I think a lot of them are highly undereducated. And I think it's intentional. That's why Moms of Liberty wanted to get into the school board. I think it's intentional. He absolutely is. You know he is up in them fouls, tooted with something big and black. Like, girl, him and Lindsay is in them fouls. Give me shelter said the way people have Mariah Carey apologizing for being an affected rich when that has always been her persona, they are working her over. Oh, that Sephora ad did not go over well. I'm telling you right now, the rich better walk lightly. They better. People, the SNAP benefits was everybody's last straw. People ain't playing with them. People ain't playing with them. Ice Macchiato said, OMG, all they listen to here in the Netherlands is 2000 hip hop and R&B. My jaw was on the floor. Never tell me Black Americans have no impact or culture. Child, we are the culture. Hannah said, have you seen the video of JD Vance and Erica hugging? It's giving they will take out his wife and put, oh, it's happening already. It's happening already. That's probably why they took out Charlie. Some people said America is a nation of Puritans. All ideologies are subjected to purity spiraling. The left wing beliefs included. Preach. Pace URL says, shout out to my neighbors across the river for electing Manzani. I am jealous as a resident of New Jersey. You should. New Jersey did good too. Listen, New Jersey, Cali, New York, Virginia, Atlanta, Bucks County. Be proud. Y'all ate that. Y'all ate that. Oh yeah, all of them. Schumer, please pack up your office now. Give me shelter said, did you see Charlemagne the Blob urging Democrats to open a government and say that nothing about the Republicans who have all three branches of government, including the Supreme Court? I promise you, with this blue wave, he's going to walk it back. You have to realize people like that, Charlemagne, Stephen A. Smith, they are puppets for the rich. They will say whatever, whoever pays them the most. They are you can't listen to them. They're not giving sound advice. They're bought and paid for. They're billboards. They're billboards. Elbig said most agents come from Confucian societies that tell them the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. That's why they stay quiet, but they're learning that won't save them in America. I also think it's just an immigrant mindset, to be quite honest with you. A lot of my friends speak about that. I was a part of a Black and Asian coalition years ago, and that was a continuing like discussion that we would have about how a lot of Asian people are taught to not get involved. Like, like keep your head down, do the work, and that's it. And a lot of the people within the Asian people who were in the Black and Asian coalition were just like, we've had a really hard time like pushing our elders and being like, we got to get out there and we got to say something. We got to do something. We have to fight. We're being bulldozed. But they were having a really hard time changing the minds of their elders and, their peers as well because of how they were raised. But child, times have changed. Imelda said, thumbs up, everybody. The poor educated Latinos are in love with their colonizer and oppressor. Again, a lot of them identify as white. I've seen some detained by ICE who voted for Kangles, and all I can think of is, have you learned yet? It's really like the way they talk about each other out here in Cali. That's a problem. That is a problem. Betty said, yep, Nikki Cheeto could have been avoided back in 2016 if people let go of the perfect candidate. Yep. Many felt they didn't want to have dinner with Clinton. Who cares? Look at the mess over the last decade. Absolutely. I I didn't like her personality. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like her personality. I would have wanted a much, like, coming from Obama, I would have wanted a much warmer candidate, right? But I agreed with her policy. I'm just like, y'all got a policy. Why are we talking about her personality over policy? Why are we talking about her personality over what she said that she is going to do? That's what I cared about. But the Democrats couldn't have brunch with her. So we got Trump. Oh, I hope this was enough for you. I hope y'all learned your lesson. Betty said it's a hell no on Newsom for me. He platforms right wing too much. Bannon and Kirk, apparently his son was a Kirk fan. So major red flag. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But if that ends up being the Democratic nominee, I'm gonna vote for it. Who's the other option? Vance? Absolutely not. IM says VA was straight blue when I lived there during the Trump's first term, which made it more palatable. I felt someone insulted from the craziness. Yeah, my family and I were thinking about that, but after it went a little crazy, we were like, yeah, we're not going to do it. Virginia's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Always clocked in, always on the right side of history. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, guys. That's all I'm thinking about right now. I think we'll get more, especially with Mamdani's win. I think we're going to get more socialist, more progressive candidates coming out. Let's just see. It's still so early. Listen, I hope their elders clocked in and told them what it was like. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that a lot of Chinese elders, a lot of Asian elders were just like, oh, we've been here and we saw what it was like. We see it's going there. Let's clock in. Dahlia said, Texas trying for a gerrymander out of the season made me sit up. Republicans told on themselves they're scared of losing their majority. Trump's slip is showing. Here's the thing. America is more Democratic than it is conservative. And the conservatives only win by cheating. They can never win a free and fair election. They have to cheat. When that man passed out, I said, the Grim Reaper keeps on missing. Why are you missing? That is not the target. Oh, geez. Oh, Lord. She got 2 kids, D. What's up? Said, as much as I would love Jasmine as a running mate, this country wouldn't vote them in. Well, they're talking about her for president. I said, absolutely not. If y'all didn't vote in the light-skinned biracial, you're not going to vote in Jasmine. Absolutely not. But as a VP, I can see that happening. Oh, don't worry, guys. I got it. Dahlia said, I think we can move in silence and position up-and-coming Dems to have them ready for action. Absolutely. Giving Shelter said, you're right. Trump was ordered to release half of SNAP benefits, but he's defying the order. Republicans are waiting for the election results. Watch them spiral. Absolutely. Hey, Kathy, thank you for being here. Ice Macchiato said, this administration is so unhinged. If America doesn't learn from this, I don't know what. I think they will. Because this is the thing. Everybody was watching New York's race because New York is huge. New York is very impactful globally. So that's why so many of us were so excited, because New York has a huge leadership position, not just in America, in the globe as well. Just like California, like Chicago, like these really big cities are very important. Pennsylvania as a state is very important, but there's always all eyes on Philly, because Philly has a huge Democratic voting bloc, and it is impactful as well. So these races were very important. We weren't expecting Mississippi to blow us out the water. We weren't expecting for Virginia to blow us off the water. We wasn't expecting for Atlanta to blow us out the water. We wasn't expecting for Bucks County to blow us out the water. We wasn't expecting for Fresno to vote the way they voted for Prop 50. So there's been a lot of surprises in this as well. but the places that we were watching overall did what needed to be done. Now we know it's game on. But see, here's the thing. We got to change our thinking. Instead of saying, I hope the Democrats really take care of the American people, we need to be like, I hope the American people really keep their foot on Democrats' neck. That's the problem. We get them people in office and then we just say, okay, have fun. No, we're checking in every day. Did you do this? You said you were going to do this. Why haven't you done this? Get it done or you're being voted out. Who's next? That's what needs to happen. Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was. Thank you for explaining. Oh, I did not. I was just like, huh? What's going on? Yeah, absolutely. You don't know poverty until you've seen white poverty. As a child, I couldn't believe that white people live like that. Child. Oh, yeah, she's a baddie. She's a baddie. Yes. I saw your post about him. That's how I knew he won. Say it louder. Yes. Yes, of course. Rich first, y'all. Rich first. Dahlia said, I just say Black American. I feel like that narrows down my race and ethnicity. The rest of the diaspora identifies itself by ethnicity. Black American is just as acceptable, period. Oh, Kentucky. Thank you. They had to go on the news and make an announcement that they can't vote in New York's election. Education. 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 Well, listen, had it been a different time, it would have been acceptable. Nobody would have cared. They would have been like, oh, Mariah. Now it's like, how dare you? We're starving. This isn't funny. Walk lightly, rich people. Walk lightly. Tears. Tears. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. We absolutely need to. We absolutely need to. We absolutely need to. After I get my Balsam Hill Christmas tree, then we boycott. No, I'm down with the boycott. I'm down with the boycott. Berna Lee said, hey, Nikki, I'm not even American, but I'm saddened when I see some of the hateful Islamophobia aimed at Mayor Mamdani. Here's the thing. The Islamophobia aimed at him is horrible. I want you to know it is huge that a Muslim man is the mayor of New York City. It ain't as much Islamophobia as it used to be. This is progress. Don't be sad. This is progress. DGS said it slays me that K-pop is referred to as pop when it's truly K-R&B. Yep. Dahlia said, I have empathy for immigrants. Most come here because they are escaping chaos back home, speaking up to get their family and their friends killed. They have to start over, can't afford to speak up with no support. Here's the thing, but they are speaking up. They come here because their nation has been disabled by America. This is not the land of milk and honey. This is the enemy, baby. This is the enemy. You should come here radical. Robert said, when the Republicans made Ron Paul impossible, they made Trump inevitable because voters wanted someone who would shake the table. Well, he shook the table. He knocked it over. And now it's done. This is the end. Thank you, Trump. Love Like You Are said, I still think Tim Walz will run. He called the GOP losers and got muzzled by the old guard. So I think he could do it. You know, you just don't know. It's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. El Bookie said, it's not Asian elders in significant amounts. It's the younger generations fighting against the belief that assimilation is the best for the Asian community that elders pushed for decades. Whoever is doing what over there, they're doing a bang-up job, child. I couldn't believe those numbers. Dahlia said, no, we need Jasmine in Congress holding it down. Us Texans need her. I absolutely agree. But if she's offered the position and she takes it, I won't be mad at it. Boogie said, internment camps made the Japanese push harder for simulations protection. Japan still very much moves this way. IM said, folks just throw out 2028 presidential picks prematurely. I've heard AOC, not going to happen. Jasmine and even Mom Donnie, not going to happen. If Kamala runs again, her slogan better be, I told y'all in the first. We don't know. We absolutely don't know. It's just still too early. Guys, there could be some random kid who comes out of nowhere and just is able to speak to the American people. You never know. Betty said, Obama came out of nowhere. Remember that? Nobody knew who he was until that speech. We don't know. Betty said, agreed, Nikki. Conservatives will never get rid of the Electoral College. It's the only reason why they've gotten into office. GOP lost the popular vote 8 out of 10 last election, except 2004. Incumbent Bush in 2024. This is the thing. Nobody would have thought they cheated had he not put up those numbers. Like, he won stuff that was just impossible. Like, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. I hope that's investigated. Jess John said Wisdom was a setup of nonsense. If she won, that would have been unexpected. Yeah. That debate killed her. I was like, you don't have a shot in hell. She was all over the place. I said, I can't believe they put her up. She was all over the place. IM says, as fellow millennials, please get involved in local elections. Become a poll worker watcher. Most of her current workers are boomers and elder Gen Xers. You have to be. You have to be involved. I'm involved in everything. Everything. Oh, I'm there. A meeting for what? I'll see you. I'll see you there. A new Kroger is trying to open up in my neighborhood. I'll be there. I'll be there for the vote. Like everything. Get involved. You have to. You are the future. Remember, Whitney saying that curse over us. I believe the children are future. And ever since then, we've had to work. We've been fighting battles we never wanted to fight since we were kids. Betty said the real welfare queens are white people and corporations. Absolutely. OpenAI trying to get so big government has to bail them out with our taxpayer money. Walmart, biggest beneficiary of SNAP. Listen, that's the truth anyhow. That's the truth anyhow. DJ said, go to West Virginia. The impoverished white folks are living desolate out there. The real EB2 queens. It's sad. But he doesn't know his base. He just pissed his base off so much. People who never voted for Democrats are voting for Bucks. Guys, I will forever be gagged by Bucks County. Betty said, I saw tweets and TikToks of New Yorkers happily calling New York City Mom Donna saying and singing Arab money. Somebody was like, I can't wait for Mom Donnie to implement Shakira law. And they had a picture of Shakira. Oh, people don't take nothing serious anymore. DGF said the way the coal industry stripped the mountains and left these folks in the hills and hollows to meth and the government destroyed their small businesses with interstate highway systems was dirty. Yep. And they still didn't get mad at them. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Some people said, I think the Dems need to go safe and run with the white man with the right politics. Who knows? I'm just saying, guys, we don't know. It's bad now. We're only 6 months in. 9 months. We're 9 months in. He got more time. We're not even a year in. We don't know how bad it's going to get. It's going to get worse. Anybody can run at this point. Anybody. Ice Macchiato said, look into James Terlacrio. I think he's a good, safe white male candidate for the president for Dems. Still too early, guys. It's still too early. Yeah, of course she did. But you also have to realize not everybody in Virginia voted. Not everybody eligible to vote. A lot of people do not get involved in the special elections, and it needs to change. Hannah said, I remember when Obama won the first time, we had portraits of him and Michelle as if they were family. They were selling T-shirts everywhere. T-shirts, sweatshirts. He was on mugs. It was a crazy, beautiful time. Some people said Walmart might be the company to break the shutdown. Their bottom line is being affected. Rich people are stubborn. We'll see. Give Me Shelter said Obama did come out of nowhere. I remember being in the islands for the Dem convention, and the Europeans and the Rubians were excited about U.S. politics. All that, yeah, you just never know. He came out of, that's why him and Hillary had such a beef. She was up next. And the Dems was just like, everybody wants this kid. Sorry, Hillary. It was, the presidential election was promised to her. But Obama came out of nowhere. You never know. You never know. Dahlia said, Nikki, you're right about how strange it is that immigrants come to America for help, not realizing and acknowledging that they're the reason they had to escape in the first place. Yeah, I don't know why they're not radical. I mean, I don't get it. I'm like, you're thanking America for what? Girl, do you know your history? I'd be gagged by that, but people are waking up now. IM said, when will the banks, airlines, and retails march their way to DC? They're canceling flight. Folks are boycotting stores. People are being laid off and no snap. What will it take? Well, here's the thing. They're not going to do anything because a lot of them are waiting for bailouts. So even though they're losing money, they're fine because they believe that they'll get a bailout. Now, if they don't get the bailout, then we'll see some reform. Me either. But we just never know. Remember that? What a time. What? Yes, me too. Me too. I will never forget I think it was his first election, his first win. I will never forget. There was this South Asian man. He had wrapped himself up. It was at a watch party, I think here in Cali. South Asian man, he had wrapped himself up in this American flag. And he was just crying at Obama's watch party. And he was just crying. They interviewed him. And they were asking him why he was crying. And he was just like, well, now I finally feel like I belong here. That his first term was a tearjerker. Everybody was bawling. You'll never forget that moment. You'll never forget that moment. Rara said, I think my dad bought coins during Obama's campaign, but tossed before election day. Man, I wish he'd be here to see that. That was my thing. I was like, I knew if my grandmother was here, she would have been all over that campaign. She would have made sure we were all involved. But this is the thing. She was pissed because it was promised to her. But what could you do? Obama had the momentum. He had the momentum. Because she was jealous. She was mad because she thought that it should have been her. Dahlia said, go back and watch Oprah's Legends Ball. Obama didn't come out of nowhere. She was already positioning him for president. It's on YouTube. Love that ball. Bring it back, Oprah. Yeah, I remember that, right? But it was still a long shot. I'm telling you, it was his speech at the DNC. When he closed out the DNC, everybody was just like, he's the next president. Remember, Obama used to go to the Appalachian Mountains and sit down and dialogue with them people for hours, had them people in tears talking to him. He was no other. He was like, no, I don't know if we'll ever get that again, but what that man was able to do, unheard of. IM said, yep, I remember her face at the convention where she had to give up the delegates. Yep. Then she became Secretary of State to prepare for 2016. Yeah, she was pissed. Stacey is at home, laid up with her man, with her feet up by her fireplace. She gave everything to Georgia. And when Georgia and Killer Mike stabbed her in the back, she said, peace, I'm out. Good for her. Sarah said, I remember when he won the first time, they had all of us students rounded in the auditorium watching him win on a projector screen. We were all hugging a better time. Yeah. Not a dry eye in the house, man. Robert said, OMG, Nikki, you're about to make me cry now, telling him I'm sorry. Dahlia said, yeah, I remember seeing Denzel Washington save his seat for Obama's. Yup. You remember Beyonce's Bang, Swinging in the Wind? I remember seeing all the Black aunties. They came from everywhere. And they were like, we have to see this. Oh, I'm gonna cry. No, we can't. And I was just like, my grandma would have been there. Ah! Woo! Woo! Child, not us having hope again. Not us having hope. Betty said Walsh was almost indestructible because everything about his identity and interests are the same as most MAGA base. So they would have been attacking their base. GOP had a hard time finding something to stick. They sure did. I am said they did my girl Stacey bad. She should have had a senior advisory role in the Biden administration after she brought Georgia home. Now we're getting Keisha Lance Bottom. A mess. But you can thank Killer Mike for that. I was in a whole Twitter war with him over that. I will never forgive him for what he did to that campaign. Love Like You Are said, I hear millennials went straight to the club after it was called. I was phone banking. And I had just did an interview with Time Magazine, and I was talking about how I said I'm doing this because my grandmother would have done it. And my whole family, we were all phone banking. And I remember it was like, guys, it was like 3 p.m. And the director of our phone bank came in and said to me and my friend, hey, Rosanna, if you're watching. And he was just like, are you guys going to the party? And we were like, what are you talking about? I still had a whole list of people to call. He was just like, the victory party. We were like, victory? I'm on the phone with somebody. We're like, victory? And he was just like, oh, you guys don't know? He won. And when he said he won, the lady on the phone started screaming. She was like, what? She was like, he won. So she starts screaming at her family, Obama won. Me and Rosanna start screaming. We're like, what? So for some reason, they didn't tell our room what happened because there was like several rooms. They didn't tell our room what was going on. Everybody else knew because when we got our stuff to leave, everybody was going. We were the only people still there. He was just like, oh yeah, he won. Everybody started screaming. Everybody started jumping up, hugging each other, crying. My friend Rosanna and I, we get in the car to go to the watch party. You can't move. Everybody in the streets, traffic stopped. People got out their cars and were celebrating. People were like smashing on their horns, screaming, we did it. There were celebrations going on everywhere. Everybody just stopped and started celebrating. I'm telling you guys, the fact that we got to experience that once in a lifetime, I don't think that will ever happen again. Maybe if we get a female president, a woman president, but that was insane. The Obama years, best time of my life. I feel like that part in Sinners, that was the best time of my life. Give me something to say. When Obama cried, my mom cried, and I wish my grandmother was here to witness him. My past not seeing Harris win, and we were waiting to. Oh, your mom. Wait, who passed? I'm sorry. I'm reading that wrong. Please correct that for me, please. El Boogie said my dad was all for him after that speech, but passed. Oh, my grandmother would have loved him. Dahlia said, but how did Obama get the closing speech, Nikki? He was a junior congressman. I'm telling you, he was tapped. Everyone could see he was special, and they all wanted to ride his coattails. Oh, no, he was special, right? I think he was tapped, but I don't think he was tapped for president. Everybody was pushing Hillary hard. That speech changed the game because nobody really knew about him. It was all about Hillary. Everybody knew that she was going to be the nominee. He did that speech. It was Hillary who? And that forever everything. And a black man came in and stole it from her. Love Like You Are said, and Stacey did it twice after the first time. Yep. She said, forget y'all. I'm going to live my life. Give me something said, I'll never forgive Killer Mike the way that op got passed. I'm still mad myself. Listen, me and him was in a good little Twitter war. Because I was just like, please stop acting like you did not help her lose that election. IM said in that speech after his pastor's video sealed the deal too. Yep. DNC party till sunrise on January 20th, 2009. I attended one of his inauguration balls and it felt surreal. What a sight to see. I remember when he was president, my sister's organization got invited to the White House. And I'm telling you, like there's nobody like that guy. He is not just a president, he is like a global celebrity. You know what? Obama is the Michael Jackson of politics. When I tell you, it was a Christmas dinner party we all got invited to. And they invited several organizations, and my sister's organization was one of them, and I went as a representative with her as well. We took a few of the girls. Every politician that you could think of, at the time, every Republican politician that hated Obama was in their room. We were all waiting because I didn't know that they actually lived in the White House. I thought they lived somewhere else, and that the White House was just a place that child. Anyway, so they stay upstairs. So there's a certain sector of the White House that they stay in. So they were staying upstairs and we were waiting for them to come down. And it was just like a regular like Christmas dinner party. The food, yikes, delicious. I tore that roast beef station up, okay? And we were just eating. And then a gentleman came down to announce that he was coming down. When I tell you, those career politicians ran like teenage girls to the front to see him. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I thought you hated that man. They all ran and waited for him to come down the steps. He came down the stairs. You saw grown men fainting and crying. It was like nothing you could ever imagine. There's politicians. And I'm like, what? I thought they hated this guy. They were like pushing children and women to get to the front to just shake his hand. He's like no other, y'all. He's like no other. It was the craziest thing to see. And that solidified for me that politics is just theater. You could not imagine those Republicans that would sit on Fox News and call him everything but a child of God, tears rolling down their face just because they got a glimpse of him, dying to shake his hand. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I thought y'all were co-workers. It was the craziest thing. He is like no other. No other. No other. Yep. Oh, she did. But it's black woman every time. She did the footwork and a black man stole it from her. A black man stole that win. I could not believe how he was able to do that and Atlanta didn't riot. I couldn't believe it. That's when I was just like, oh, it's different down here, child. Dahlia said, Killer Records such a disappointment. Watching him and T.I. during a pandemic, telling people not to. They're rich first. Rich first. She did, but I mean, if she wants it. IM said 2008 was such a great time to be alive. I dragged my pregnant sisters and toddlers to the voting lines, encouraging folks to stay in line in North Virginia. What a time to be alive. The way families got involved, beautiful. Given Shelter said, I remember being in a crowd when Obama won and Hillary was won in 2016. Haven't been canvassing outside since. I just do what I can from my computer because I'm tired of inactive people. I get you. Yes! It was a very hopeful time. Oh, yeah. Hopefully it'll happen in our lifetime. Hopefully. Give Me Shelter said, my mom passed away in July, but we were so upset in November 2024. We really were waiting for the first Black female. It's coming. It's coming. We all did. We all thought that it was be her. IM said the way those hotels changed their cancellation policies the day after Kamala lost was too funny. We were so ready to descend. Yep. The D9 was waiting in the wings. Sure was. Love Lucky Or said I was in 5th grade when he won, and they gave us a free day. And it was, I'm telling you, it was a different time. It was a different time. Easy. Nobody like him. Dahlia said Killer Mike looked foolish begging RKJ to abolish child support when he was doing his presidential campaign. I was embarrassed for him. Ugh, just a mess. A mess. Nonsense Babe said no disrespect to Michelle, but Barack is top 10. Yes, I remember the first time I went viral was when I wrote a post that said I miss having a hot president. Everybody and their mama tapped into that post on Twitter. I was like, ooh, I guess I wasn't the only one who thought that. He is the Michael Jackson of politics. It was crazy seeing that. Ice Macchiato said politics is heavy on theater. That's why the Orange Man works so well for the uneducated. Absolutely. Absolutely. IM said working for the feds taught me that this is all theater. Yep. The media makes money off of rage bait, so I don't feed into it. Absolutely. Rara said, man, I remember back when all the other countries loved us. Good times. Yep. Like he really pushed America to the forefront. Everybody was just like, look at what America is doing. Let's follow suit. Give Me Justice said, sounds like you are talking about Van Jones. I feel like he cries in front of civil rights leaders, but gets on TV and excuses weak men who vote for idiot candidates. I won't say if it was or was not him, but I will say it was a lot of people there who talked about that man who were in literal tears just witnessing him. Gagged me. Dahlia said Hillary would actually be a decent president, but she doesn't have charisma and she comes across as cold. Optics matter, unfortunately, in America. Sexism at its finest. Yep. But then you get Kamala, who was too kind. You can't win as a woman. You can't win. What a time to be alive, man. It was a time. Dahlia said, I love watching Obama come down the Air Force One stairs. Y'all know how hard it was to have swag on the staircase? Obama's that guy. Yeah. The stars aligned for him, man. That was like no other. I was just about to talk about that tan suit. They were mad about that tan suit because he looked good. He looked good in that suit. My God, today. But what a time. Hopefully it's coming back. Listen, all I know is that we got hope. We got hope, and that's what we needed. Shout out to the American people who got the job done. Shout out to the American voters who took these special elections seriously and pushed the nation forward. It will always be a select few that will do the work for many. It's always like that. But shout out to those who did the work. Thank you for saving democracy. You're welcome, Dahlia. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. It was good. And I loved how we reminisced at the end. I love this so much. Thank you all for joining me for my first political live. It's a little scary. It's a little intimidating, but we had to have this conversation. What a great thing to experience as a Star family, as a nation. I'm excited for what's next. Let's keep the momentum going, but also protect and support those who we voted into these places because they are making themselves targets for us. They are putting their lives on the line, literally. Let's protect them. Let's protect them. We will, because this went well. I was a little nervous. This went really well, so we will have more. We will have more. We have a celebrity. Work. Imelda said, we love you. Thank you. We needed this. Oh, you're so welcome. Night, guys. Thank you for being here. Kirsten said, Obama had a cool factor just like Zoran. MAGA is not cool and never will be. Bunch of dorks. What a way to end. Good night, Star family. Love you all. See you tomorrow. I don't know for what. I will see you tomorrow for Married at First Sight. I'm going to try to get my mom to watch some episodes and hop in, and we'll talk about that. But we'll see. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to do Married at First Sight tomorrow. So see you then. Night, guys, or morning, wherever you are. I love you. Thank you for joining me on my first political live. We'll have more. Night. Mwah.